You're listening to Kate of Gaia on Critical Mass Radio. The game is up. Now, it's our turn.
Well, holy, that was a lot of fun to get on the board tonight. I had to come in. Oh, God, I got to tell you guys, this has been crazy in a beautiful way. But anyway, I'm called in as a caller because I couldn't. I got the board open. It's been mayhem with internet today. Skype has been working perfectly, but the internet just doesn't want to load up. What are the odds of that? Apparently pretty good. But anyway, I managed to get called in through the board. You see, I get to be a caller. I love it. This is awesome. See, I told you I'm a caller. Anyway, we're going to introduce a brand new show to you guys tonight. The M&M show with Mike and Mark, where the truth is not candy-coated. We don't like candy coatings on our truth. We just like the pure center of it, right to the middle. So we get to the heart of it all here. And that being said, I just finished a show off there with No Borders Radio, and I'm hoping to get a podcast of that because it was a zone. It was really, really awesome. It was just a beautiful place to be in that zone, and yeah, I think it's about an hour and 20 minutes of just straight on getting it done. And I did cover the contracts, and there's something for you, Mike and Mark, and feel free. I think it would be a lot of fun in terms of topics. Is maybe grab some of the essays, read them out, and start discussing the concepts within them, and that way everyone gets on the same page. I just thought that as an idea, so it takes all the pressure off worrying about what to talk about. Well, let's talk about truth and how we get it all together. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce. We got Mike on the board. I'm not seeing Mark. I know you guys were having trouble getting on, just like myself. So I guess as soon as Mark, your co-host, shows up, we'll bring him in. How are you doing, Michael?
Aloha. Yeah, wonderful day in paradise. Walking down the street, picking oranges off a tree.
Nice.
Sometimes you can't get more lovely than that. Simplicity.
Here's the singularity. Nice, prick. See what I mean? It's all perfect. It's freaking awesome. That's how you can, if you can be happy and pissed off at the same time with the same thing, that's a singularity. How are you looking at it? Are you polarized? I can see both sides of it. It's beautiful. I'm so happy you can go and grab oranges. That's got to be an awesome experience. And, of course, it's snowy here, so I'm going to call you a prick. It's awesome. Oh, it's so easy, this game.
Evening, all.
Ninja!
Hey, Ninja.
Thank you so much.
Hello.
Thank you for grabbing the board, hon. There was something that I think that you wanted to share. So why don't you share that? We were talking today about languages. Yeah, the languages and the
Oh, yes, indeed. Yes. We spend a lot of time here talking about the root words, because between us here we have something like 4 languages fluent, maybe something like that. And how you find the root of words, if you only know English, it's impossible. But when you know lots of different languages, you could bat it around the table and say, but this also means that, and this also means that. And then you can really understand not only how the languages are all interconnected, but how the hidden meanings of the words are not really hidden at all. They're just in another language. And when you put them all together, and you can really get a much bigger picture. It's absolutely fascinating.
Yeah, it's where...
Sorry, go on, Kate. Yeah.
I was going to say it's where English meets French meets German meets Norwegian meets Mandarin meets all of the languages in one language called Phoenician or sound.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the threads are unbelievable once you start to see them, and you just think that's so comical, really. Yeah, but very, very good fun. If anybody has a multilingual household, please try it because it's absolutely entertaining. And on the business end of the stick, if you like, we've got a little bit of an update here from the Norwegian end. We sent out a load of documents in Norwegian to everywhere in Norway some months ago, and we actually have had a response which came in November. We hadn't really processed it until yesterday, from the Justice Minister of Norway to the truth bomb that was sent, which included the apostolic letter, the birth certificate, the I who shall not be legally named, and various others of Kate's documents. And yeah, we got a response. I'm just going to, it was a very, very minimalist response. I felt the edge of it. It came as a scanned in PDF of an actual colour letterhead with a real ink signature on it. And it's from Anders Anundsen, the Just Preparedness Minister of Norway, and it says, regarding notification about criminality and court system, thanks for your email of 20th November 2013. I am registering your considerations surrounding criminality and the Norwegian court system and taking this for orientation. With best regards, his signature, his name underneath, as I say, Anders Anundsen, Justice and Preparedness Minister. So that's a nice open door back to him, which we shall be using very shortly with a lot more information, including the witness information. And we're also going to be asking Anders to not worry too much about orientation. In other words, what to do with what we've sent. He needs to find his orientation with what we've sent. So no, don't worry, we know what that is. And we've come up with, speaking with Kate earlier today, that he has to provide the means people like us to get, the criminals in court, a criminal court. So we've got some conversation to have with this chap.
Absolutely, and just to follow that up, there was an individual and his mom that they were threatened with eviction that was supposed to take place today, and of course Art has been in contact, of course, and this individual has been up to speed on the writings and was able to stand at the door and fend these idiots off. And of course, we don't worry about fending the idiots off because they're easy. What we're after now is going after the people with intent. Okay, they're not vengeance, guys. I need you to really, really walk this narrow with me. Don't slip into the literal vengeance. Okay. What we do now is we send our intent back, and what this individual was directed to do was this. Immediately contact the mayor, and he did, and he got a response. And I'm telling you why everyone around this planet had better get busy really quick. That includes Robert Doyle in mayor of Victoria, Melbourne, whatever the hell's jurisdiction. Melbourne. Because this individual is fully and completely liable for all by proxy agents operating within his corporational jurisdiction. You live by the sword, you die by the sword. You live by the oath, you die by the oath. This is it. You are in spirit. This man is in spiritual contract with the dead fiction. And I put everyone on this planet on notice that you are under your own recognizance now. That which you wish upon others, you wish upon yourself. And what I had mentioned in this conversation was simply this. Now, I'm going to walk you guys down this path, and I really need you to get the power of what I'm sharing with you. Okay. Mayor is in every city or township or whatever the hell you want to call it in Distractionville, called physical world. Every one of these entities is elected. Therefore, you have in every one of those jurisdictions an elected chief justice or a judge. They're not a mayor. They are the chief. That's mayor, M-A-R-E or M-A-Y-O-R. I don't know about you, but phonics kind of sounds the same to me. So if you want the mother horse, get it? You can say it the same way. So if you want the horse of Babylon, the mayor, to rule you, then that's your mama. Sorry, that's a dead mother. I'm not a dead baby. And I'm certainly not a child of God. Child can be pronounced killed. Check it out. You'll see. C-H, cuss sound, ill, d. You don't need an E. That's a spellbinding rule, is it not? Of course it is. This is why it's so critically important to get out the scissors. I don't care what you have. Slice and dice the sounds and start to see the real truths contained within the words themselves. So what you have to do is this. You've got the mayor as the Chief Justice who, by agreement of their oath, I don't care if they have one, they do. They agreed to be the mayor. You don't need a piece of fucking paper. And you really got to lose this. Paper only has the power of the intent that you agree with that is on it. If you cannot read Japanese sigils, it means fucking garbage to you. Treat every piece of paper the same way. That which you agree to and react emotionally to, you are at effect to. Doesn't make you much cause. It makes you full on effect. So we take this same cause ability, time to be the crow, the crone, and start making your own cause. Start putting out through the Taurus field. Start shooting the bull a whole lot differently here. So by proxy, everyone that is operating within their agreed upon, spiritually bound to, and oath to being a dead entity are fully liable for all the actions of all of the agents, the police, the judges, the lawyers, the citizens, you name it. The mayor is fully liable for all activity within their jurisdiction. That's why they call it the chains of office. They are the chains to bind you or the chains to hang them. It's time to be the unicorn and bow your head and remove that crown from around your neck. And only when you bow to the truth will the false crown fall off. Then you can raise your head high. Then you can stand in truth. Then you have the ultimate protection of the universe, where you will have the illusion of being harmed, but never will be. That is the power of truth. You will be tested, but you will never be harmed in that test. Only when you find the peace within will you pass that test. As soon as you go, oh yeah, okay, I get it. That's when things change. But it doesn't change until you do. That's your reality. That's your path that you're choosing. I choose the path of no vengeance. So what people need to do is start putting every mayor on this planet on notice that we see you, and we don't need a court to prove your guilt. Your actions have already sealed your fate. I simply agree with it. If it was someone's intent to harm, and they got away with it, does that negate the crime? Does that negate the contract or the intent? No, it does not. They have to stand fully in that. So every being on this planet is now on full recognizance. That which you wish upon others in terms of blessings will return to you 1,000-fold, and that which you wish upon humanity in a negative, malfeasant, harmful way shall also be returned 1,000-fold. That is a singularity. That is the choice of the individual point of consciousness that are not my concern. I merely have my reality that I use, that I stand in. And if you want to play in my sandbox, you're going to need to grow up. And if you can't, don't worry. I know universal law stands behind everything that I do, and I do not wish harm. I only give the golden rule. That which you have wished upon yourself, or others, you have wished upon yourself. Be careful what you think. Every thought is a wish. Be careful what you wish for. I will fucking grant it now.
All right. Woo. Yes, drive it home, Kate.
Point made.
Amen. Amen. You're hitting it right on the bullseye, Kate.
That's where we are, boys and girls. Time to, like I keep saying, pull up the big boy manties and the big girl panties. We got this. Lose the diapers.
It's the new golden rule, Kate. We've always been confused, and the simple version of it is do no harm.
Yeah. It's pretty simple.
No harm can be done. That's it. That's the simple one. Not what I can do. What is it in the and then you got to put it into the negative to. No, we're gonna live. We live in a world of no harm, where you cannot cause harm to anyone. That's the simple of it. You know, it's the new mind that flows in harmony with nature and all life.
It's just so simple.
Yeah, and it's simple, it's elegant. And
it's
the old
beautiful,
system,
Mike.
Yeah,
Okay.
what did we say the old system was dressed up in? The opposite of simple was, Mark, what was that word? Oh, it'll come back to me.
That's all good, guys. Carry on for a little bit here. I've got an email to answer. Actually, it's not an email. Here's a concern that came in, and let me clarify it right now. Concern from someone who just posted this. Is there going to be time for chat or calling questions? Actually, can that be the majority of the program? I'm worried Kate will talk over Bill and take most of his time. This is such a special opportunity with so little time. Can someone please make sure Bill is the main focus and gets all the opportunity? No offense to Kate, but everyone is aware how rare this is and how privileged we are to get Bill's time, right? All well intentions in this comment. Sorry, I don't see any well intentions there. How about you just let it be? How about you decide?
I didn't.
Yeah. How about you let me decide if I'm all fucking grown up? And better yet, how about you, whoever wrote this? There's no mention of who it is. It came in neutral. How about you go out and spend the last 6 years of your life on the air talking about this? Now, how about you get your fucking life shredded in order for you to learn where it is I'm sitting right now? And why don't you learn to be all grown up instead of being concerned? Because I'll tell you what will happen if it becomes a call-in show, which it will not, and definitely Bill is the focus, no question. I have waited for this moment for a very long time. And the last thing I'm going to do is let some fucking monkey-chattering left-brain meat stick come in and try to derail things because they have no clue as to what's really going on here. Bill will get this. I just need to plant a couple of seeds and watch him go.
This is one for the archives of all archives, the classic, and clearly, who better to interview him than you? And yeah, we don't need any advice from anybody. Thanks very much. Whatever the intent was behind it.
It's a slight old fear in the mind control program, Kate.
Yep.
It's slight. As I said, it's. But as we come close, it's minor in a way, but it's still needs to be light shined on and done with.
Mm-hmm.
All good intentions. Come on, there's something. All good intentions, Kate, but fuck off.
Pretty much, That's all good. I mean, I get it, but, sorry. Not on my watch. And like I said, I tell you what, why don't you get to the point where you can actually be able to interview Bill Donahue, and then we'll talk about it. Then we'll be on a level footing here.
See, the beauty of this, Kate, is... And
hey, Mike,
you
were right a minute ago. You started laughing because that's what you've got to do, haven't you?
Yeah. So the beauty of this and what people have got to remember, why is Kate interviewing Bill? And quite simply, is because she's done the work to be able to, in a way, reach that point to have that conversation with Bill that we all would like to hear. So, bravo, Kate. Thank you for manifesting this, and everyone at the table also wanting this. Thank you.
Well, exactly. And again, this for me is an opportunity to finally speak with the third part of the Trinity. Who do I cherry pick from the most? Santo and Bill. And I take the joy of these guys is the fact that I can take what they got and build another rung above it and keep climbing and keep pulling everything up. There are going to be some very profound things for Bill when he gets the Phoenician. I'm going to be very short and sweet with it about everything being phonics and Phoenician. And it won't take long for that genius that Bill is, in an allegorical, anagogic sense, to take it to the next level. And I'm going to use Shoot the Bull as the allegory, from the literal to the allegory to the anagogic, and how to put the cause and intent back into the game. That's it. And it's going to be an absolutely astonishing time. I know this, and Like, and you guys have heard me, I am looking so forward to never having to do this again.
Yeah, Kate. And part of it is just, again, touching bases with certain part of our consciousness that just need to be clued in that, oh, you understand this, or understand this part too? Yeah, just to come to the same page. Many times we feel we're on different pages, and just because we haven't communicated clearly enough or touched base, and once we do, wow, the magic flows.
Totally it does. Totally it does. So, guys, where do you want to take this? Because I pretty much said my piece, and I really want to let you guys just go with whatever it is you want to chat about. You're both well-versed. You're in the now. You know what we're talking about. And just have at her, The table's yours. I am bowing out here very gracefully to prove that I don't want to talk. I just want to be.
Kate?
Yeah.
Before you step back for the evening, can you please confirm the location and times for the Bill Donahue interview?
Yep.
I believe it's 5 p.m. Eastern, is what you said to me earlier. Just double check.
Yeah. It's saying 2200 hours p.m. Greenwich Mean Time, so that's looking like it's 7 o'clock. That's different from what I was told. So it looks like tomorrow night I'll be at a different table, same time.
So
there you go.
2200 hours at Greenwich Mean Time.
That's what it's saying on this notice I just got, and
5K.
I can't open it up right now because my net is not working worth a beans here. So I know it's astrotheologyradio.com. And don't worry, I'll be sharing those links as soon as I've got...
that's okay. astrotheologyradio.com.
Okay? That's where we're going to be.
It should be the 2 hours before the outside the box. Should be. That's fine. We'll know when that moment comes.
Well, that's the thing. 2200 hours is... what time is that? That's 10 p.m., right?
Yeah, 2 hours before usual time.
Oh, right. So so we're 5 to 7, then 7 to 9. So I'll see if I can even get Bill to swing over onto our table for the night.
Yes, that was my feeling.
Sweet.
Okay. And I'll tell him that on the air. It says I can bring you in via Skype, or I can call his number and bring him in that way. Or I might have to get Chris to do that because he can do that. But again, I'm here right now. So let's manifest. Oh, by the way, look at the headline. Santo is out. System got tired of Santo teaching synchronicity in general population because a lot of inmates suddenly realized who they truly were and started becoming witnesses and creating havoc within our system, destroying it from the inside out, swinging Excalibur as only the way Santo Bonacci can. How's for a story?
They must wanted it because he actually said flat out on the radio, if something like this happens, that's what he's doing.
And that's what he's doing. I got confirmed from Cindy. I talked to Cindy earlier today. I'm going to see if Cindy is around. She said she was thinking of coming. I can't bring her anyway, because I'm a caller. Yay! I love it. But anyway, Sonia and Hiromi went in to see Santo last night, and they wouldn't let him see him. They brought some clothes in, but the guy at the counter that they were talking at said, "Yeah, this Santo is an interesting fellow. I think he's already got a sync school started going on in here. Of course he does. That's our Santo. What do you expect from a Leo ascendant Mars and get the job done Arian? Are you kidding me?" And people say, why Santo? Why, here, I got to share this. Why Santo? Why not Kate? Well, I'll tell you, because I'm trained. They're going to put me in solitary, so they need to put someone there, another Leo ascendant, that can get the job done in general population. So there you go. And now he's a card-carrying member of our club, and I love it. It has to be. It's beautiful. Oh, man, talk about the stories that we got going on. This is freaking awesome. And
now,
killing it
I
from
don't
the
know.
inside.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't asked. I haven't even I think he talked about what it was beforehand that they were trying to get him on. I don't even want to go into any details, and I don't even know any details. If someone wants to share them, if we do that, we do that. But what I'm kind of getting at is, they put him in jail for what? It's almost like this ain't Singapore, man. But it's showing you that it's a control system. You know what I mean? Did he spit? Did he kick a dog? What bullshit did he supposedly do that you wouldn't just bring him in and go, okay, now you're released? Man, there's billion-dollar fraudsters, man, that go in and out quicker than this. So it's just a farce of the whole system, man.
It's like we've said, it's starting to show its ugly head.
Yeah, just got it back. It was mentioned. They mentioned to me because it was a second person, and I just wrote, "Well, that was already my intent about letting Bill have the most." Of course, duh. Anyway, I am a radio host after all, so I treat it when I'm in a true hosting position. Then I treat it as such. Here, I consider myself being interviewed by you guys, right? And then I asked the question, well, what about the other 7.3 billion folks? I guess I'll wait to hear from them too, see what their opinion is.
Hey, kids, what I want to hear?
Real consensus.
I want to hear somebody call in from the land they call Russia. And is there a better name? I'll start calling it. Also from Japan. I want to start hearing people call in from other parts of our consciousness that are here on the planet and other points. Because, as I was sharing earlier, man, there's a whole lot more people who are resonating with this without tuning into the so-called station through the internet that are right here, right now also.
Great. You know, we we have this game. I know we have this game. I'm laughing here. You know, so just to finish that little story off with the gentleman that was dealing with the mayor. Mayor did get back to him and sent off a bunch of stuff, and they got back to him again saying, I'll look over this. And we had a bit of a chuckle when the individual called us back and said, well, how do I address this? Do I address it, your worship? And we had a field day with him. Just, no, you call him by his name, right? If you give somebody a title or give them the illusion that they have power over you, is that not a spiritual contract? Yeah, I thought it was, too. Yeah. Call me silly and non-contractual in nature. I'm very careful about that, which I agree to. That's why I look at everyone as equal. Can't be anything but. There's only one, right? So it's all good. It's all good. You know, nope, didn't get back to me on that. Oh, still writing. Anyway, it's all good. It will be fun. Let me write that. It will be fun.
You know, Kate, there's going to be a so-called law like...
relax.
It's going to be like, you're going to jail for being a pompous ass. And the jail is in the parking lot. You know, you remember they used to have telethons for MDMA and used to come to the parking lot. I don't know if they had it in your neck of the woods. And they would have a thing to raise money. You'd get to put somebody in the silly jail. And it was a cardboard thing or whatever. And hey, man, I live a cartoon existence in many ways, and I've watched it unfold like that. And so here's another funny one to add. So Robert Doyle's going to be sitting in a parking lot. We're going to have some wet sponges, and we're going to be laughing, throwing things. You're in a funny jail for being a pompous ass, you prick. Now, quit thinking like that and come over here.
and you're sentenced to wear a tutu for a week.
Like this, until your ego gets in line and you can laugh also.
Yeah. And don't worry, Mr. Robert Doyle. This is from Master Kate Renee. I'll lend you some panties. Don't worry about it. You'll be fine. I love it. It's comedy, baby. It's comedy. Anyway, I'm gonna step back. It is astrotheologyradio.com at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard, 10 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time. Okay? And of course it had to be 2200 hours. Master number, there's Quad, bullseye. And I had this feeling that the day that I finally talked to Bill Donahue, was the day the game was over. So relax. It's perfect. It's all good.
Okay, here's a simple quote. Well, I don't know where I got it, but I've thought about this a lot and had this same feeling. And education system has nothing to do with learning. It is about following orders and bowing to authority. People want to get their ego bent and say, no, I'm not talking about true education or learning. I'm talking about the education system. And it's about following orders and obeying authority. That's it. Mark?
I couldn't agree with you more, Mike. Program before. Well,
it's we kind of like people think, well, how did I become a worker? How did I get stuck in this system? Remember that school you went to when you were a kid? That's where it started. Well, we can go back further, but that's where you got a lot of the indoctrination. We can say this now in all light because we know it's finished. And I'm not joking. That's something to laugh at somebody stuck in it, so-called today. We can laugh because we know what it truly is and that it's finished, and there will be a real new way. Well, no, I'm not going to call it even new. We'll go back to true learning and education, and with that is we'll be learning from the children, for sure. And that doesn't really go on much in this education system, no matter how much the teachers would like to do that. They're stuck in a mind-controlled program curriculum.
I mean, it's a true crime because I saw my niece, and she comes out with a world map and is going through the countries, and it's so interesting how they look at the words and they say it's. I mean, ultimately, a child is so pure. A child is not born evil.
No. And even an evil so-called person can wake up and or take the next breath and choose differently.
It's just a shame that they are so corrupted.
Yeah,
the system corrupts from such a young age.
Yeah, so young, man.
And that's why for a lot of people the program is hard to indoctrinate out of them, deprogram, whatever you want to call it.
Oh yeah, man. I was talking with friends just the day before, after the show, and standing around the fire, and this friend of mine told him my son got sent 4 times to the office yesterday. And guys, remember where I live.
I need to share this, guys. I just got this in from my dear friend Larry. I've read a few of his emails on the air over the last number of months. Anyway, here's a quick little note from him here. Had to pick up parcel at the post office. They wanted ID. Had none except the BC. I said I only carry this one for evidence of fraud. She said, sorry, I need photo ID. Why I'm here with 3D in live form. What more do you need? Well, why I'm here in 3D form. What more do you need? I left without the package after I gave them some of your writings regarding the fraud. Next day, they delivered the package to my house. Neat, eh? That's what you get when you stand in truth. It is that magical, boys and girls. It really is, and I really need you to know this, not believe it, know it. Just do it, and you'll see for yourself. There you go.
Yes, that is beautiful, Kate. I envisioned it. The whole time you're doing it, I could see the guy standing up there. I was imagining myself, but here, I never show ID. They know you're here.
Absolutely.
It's funny. If you don't think people in the community I live in know you, no, they do. And that's it used to be in most communities, and it wasn't a negative thing. It was a positive thing. You know who's around. You know who's interacting with your kids and stuff, and you want to know that they're good people. And most of us are.
To live in harmony, Mike.
Yeah, harmony of being. And then somebody said fidelity of being. And and I was listening to this. If you ever hear Neil Kramer?
No.
All right. I recommend him to everybody. Go Neil Kramer. Just type his name in there. He's an English guy from Manchester. He's living in the States now. Like to get him on. Anyone want to hear an interview with him? It's he did one with Peter Tongue. Highly recommend it, guys and girls. Beautiful. But anyways, where was I going with this, Mark? Well, yeah. You know, when my mind doesn't work like this and I forget, people generally say, "Oh, Mike, you're getting old," or something. I'm like, no, I don't need to go there. So all you people getting older, so-called older, and thinking you're losing your memory, no, you just didn't need that information. Look at it like that. Or when you need to access it, you will. And on that, let's go back to what I was sharing with about school and the predicament people are in the system. Like this guy was at the post office. I need your ID. And what was beautiful was the package delivered. They changed to him. He was the cause. He stood in his causal nature, and the effect was he got his package. And so my friend, I shared with him the other day, I was like, why don't you not send your kid to school? And they're like, what, homeschool him? I was like, well, if you want to call it that, and that's what a lot of people do, it's like, no, just don't send him there. Yeah, but he has to learn how to get along. Here's what people share, how to get along with the system. Seriously. And I'm like, what do you mean? To understand it or obey it? Because you're going in there, your understanding is going to be how to obey it. And unless you pull them out and teach them that, hey, go look. It's not about how to figure it out.
I think, though, Mike, you kind of redefine it, because you're right in the aspect that ultimately, who should ask yourself the question, who should teach a child? Who should teach a child?
Well, the community.
To hunt, to fish, to grow, to whatever.
And that happens here on this island to a large degree. And in Hawaii before. This is a place where that's the so-called Western system wasn't here. And especially the education system and the religious system. I won't say it was in perfect harmony, but they were warring at one point. But it was, you learned from the mentors around.
How do you define, that's right, how do you, a left brain person is going to still go back into define education as left brain.
Yes, exactly.
You remember it, Johnny, and at the end of the year you get a big tick if you can spur it all out on a piece of paper. You're a clever boy, pat on the head.
My friend goes, yeah, exactly.
Oh,
what bullshit. My friend goes like this, and I had to laugh at him, and I called him up. He's like, I don't know, 70 or 80 years old. He's with it still. And it was his grandson I was talking about. He goes, no, he needs to go to school and learn. And I was just like, what do you mean? You dropped out. And that shut him up for the moment. And we can teach him all that in a couple months, man. What you learn in so-called learn in 6 years of school. Kids will pick that up in a couple months when they want to do it. And then the rest of what they get is a bunch of learned bad behavior, like obeying authority. And now let's look at authority, Mark. What is this word authority? Well, it's basically the master-slave program. Someone has a right to rule you.
That's right. They've got that piece of paper in their hand.
Yes, and in the natural scheme of things, no one has the power over you. No one has the power over me. No one has the power over you. No one has that right. It is not natural. And that paper that made it a so-called legal, lawful thing, I'm not even going to call it a right. It's a wrong. Masquerade as a right. And what do you get? Master and servant.
Spot on, Mike.
Yeah, well, that paradigm's changed. Thankfully. That's the basis of it. And when people realize that, then they can climb back out of their rabbit hole very easily, because they'll notice it all along the way. Oh, drop that one, drop that one. Oh, that's how it was masquerading and hiding that effect. Oh, yep, drop that. Because they'll have it at the core, what is. And we all have it at our core. And we're all waking up to that fact, that truth. And so whether I say it, somebody else says it, ultimately they're hearing it from themselves, whether it's from my voice or another, their own higher self, their own inner self.
The collective consciousness without...
The collective consciousness is now saying this. Yes, we're now reprogramming the collective consciousness. I don't even want to use the program. We are now reimagining the collective consciousness with knowledge and love and harmony and beauty and truth.
Talking from the heart.
Yeah, and this is why, in many ways, we're going to start seeing it reflected back at us. We won't be the initiators of the conversations as much anymore. That's what I feel, and that's why Kate is so happy to be like, oh yeah, man, let me sit down and be. You know, and I've been doing a lot of sitting, guys. So I'm happy to come to the table and share the, what I like to call it, the, what's the word, Mark? I shared it with you earlier. We're in a, we talked about this the day before. Anyhow, the word will come to me. But we're doing it. And right now the voice is coming from me, and the voice comes out of many different people. I heard Savan say this one day. And this is what I love about him, man. He can flow. And he tunes into that, I'm looking for the word again, I can't find it. How did I call it before when you described it? We've many ways already had this conversation, and now we're confirming it. We all know this truth in our hearts, in our souls, in our minds, in our being, right down to our very cells. All know this truth. And nature's singing it every moment to us. And that's why, it's no longer belief, it's knowing truly that we're shifting our consciousness to this new reality that we've already created.
Yeah. Timeline, sync, whatever you want to call it.
Synchronicity. I'm going to come up with it. I'm going to write it down because it's a good remembrance to, like that Kate was reading about that, about the bill. People got to realize sometimes when Kate and Bill are going to be talking, it doesn't matter which one is speaking. They're both on the same page, reading the same truth. With, an individual perspective to shine more light and love. And that's what we're going to get. That's what we get from Kate and Bill and Santos day in and day out.
It resonates with everyone.
Yeah, that's it. It resonates. And that's what, when I look here where I live, and I'm surrounded by the Pacific Ocean. I'm in the most remote place in the world. People might think it's Antarctica or some other place. It's actually Hawaii. We're the furthest distance from any landmass. And so in one way, we're the remote place in the world. And for me, I always thought, wow, I have that much water surrounding me. And it wasn't a fear thing, it was a love thing. That we, from this position, and I don't just mean we, me, we can send out love and truth and good vibrations from here that is amplified and just starts resonating through the water, because it acts as one of the beautifulest transmitter of this. And that's why I know this is unfolding. The true nature of reality is unfolding, unrolling.
Unraveling.
Yes. So, Mark, what would you like to talk about? It's midnight. I got to remember, it's midnight in your neck of the woods. It's midday here.
Yeah, it's 10 to 1.
Yeah, almost 1 now. Yeah.
It's a fantastic time, people.
I know, it's where you put your consciousness, where you focus your perspective on, and you have the power to choose where you want to do that. And instead of listening to some drama on TV, many of us tuned into this show with Kate and Santos, and then started listening, whether it was them first or Bill and other people, and started filling our brains and beings up with really positive knowledge and truth. And really makes a difference. If you're going to watch TV, watch comedy. If you're going to watch a movie and you're not figuring out the allegories, watch a comedy. Laugh.
Yeah.
Because, man, I've taken things way too seriously in my life too many times, and I'm glad I did, because it helped me up the next step in the ladder. It made me aware of many things that are going down on the planet. But I didn't get stuck in them, in the anger and the fear, the injustice. Kind of like Kate, I got to a point where I said, bravo. I said, bravo to the game. I said, bravo that you can lie. It's a backhanded compliment. But when you recognize that their game was to fool and deceive, and they right out did that and told you they were going to do that, I'm kind of like, good trick, man. Way to go. If you take it personally, you're not going to see it. So imagine you're at a table, and I was watching this video about Ricky Jay, this magician. Sleight of hand. He's performed in the UK many, many times. And he was talking about this one level of magic where you sit down, you tell them what you're going to do, and you do it, and the beauty of it, and this is, it's not hurting anyone, it's not harming anyone. But in the other system, in the distortion, the matrix, it is. And that's why we say bravo in one way, but stop, finished, kalash.
We get the joke.
Yeah.
We get it.
Yeah. Here, just to jump in here a little bit, in terms of mirrors, you hear me talk about mirrors all the time. And you see, one of the things that I very, very quickly discovered is that which I am putting forth through intent. Let's get back to the drama days of, getting mad at people and all the rest of it, okay? By the way, I finished addressing that nonsense with, tell you what, why don't we wait till after the interview and we'll talk about it from that perspective. Wouldn't that make more sense? How about you let me be all grown up? I think I can handle it, I kind of get it. And unless these people are, want to come in and... See, you want to know the thing about truth? It's very simple. If you get it, you don't have any questions to ask. The only questions you should be asking are of yourself.
Totally right, Kay. And you mentioned this, when I hear you and Santos and Bill speak, and it's on many subjects that, I wasn't that familiar with, but I heard the truth. And I was like, I don't need to figure anything out there. I heard it. It resonated with me. I know it now. Can I repeat it? No, but when I see it or hear it again, definitely there. The
recognize it.
I recognize it, and then simply
you resonate, Mike, and you just know. I mean, you just know.
In my own way, I will share that knowledge, that same truth.
In your own time, in your own place. I mean, what Mark just said is spot on. You resonate with it, and again, it's not about really needing to re-explain it. It's only important that you get it. You see, this is why when have a look at the Free Man Society and all of the legal idiots. Okay, you go to any one of their chat rooms, and they're all talking about. They're asking questions. Well, how do you do this, and what do you do about that? Because those that, you see, here's the singularity of asking questions. If you need to ask questions you don't know, and if you're looking outside of yourself for the answer, fuck, you certainly don't know. I'm so tired of the dramas. When people want to come out and accuse me of being passionate, of course I'm going to look at it and say, yeah, I am passionate. And then you see, here at this table, it's different. For me, it's different. This is our table. It's a free for all. That's why I don't actively pursue anyone to interview, because there's only a couple of people that I don't consider it interviewing. There's only a handful of people on this planet, including all you guys, that I could actually have a conversation with. What, do you honestly think I can, bring the Sean onto this show and expect a sentient conversation when you're dealing with someone still in the literal sense of things, And we can play the games of, like spy versus spy, infiltrating camps, and please, it's all fucking drama to me.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about that NSA stuff. And some of these other guys, like, what's his name? Yeah, I like a lot of what he does. A lot of what he says is truthful. But then whether it's Wilcox, some of these other guys, I'm like, guys, why are you bringing up the NSA stuff without adding the next picture of the puzzle that we're co-creators of our reality, and that's the end game? They're like, NSA, we're birthing a new world. I'm like, fear and then love, guys? What? I'm confused. And I think that's what's happening to people when they read that. They're very appreciative, but then they get stuck and don't, in a way, step up a ladder and be the responsible co-creator that they are.
Yeah, here, that's the difference between, someone who is actually a God creator versus someone who is claiming to be, let's say, a warrior. What is a warrior? Well, a warrior is the war, right? That's the as below are in the light of God. I, in the light of God, if you are needing to fight, and if you are passing comments and judgment and all the rest of it, that's not me I'm worried about. I'm looking at it going, okay, well, they're not observing me as I see me, and that's okay. I don't deem it right or wrong. From their perspective, they can be whatever they want. From my perspective, do I accept it as contract or not? No, of course I do not. But what I do is I will observe it from a mirrored position. I will go and stand in front of the mirror. If you want to see the face of God, go and stand in front of the fucking mirror. Instead of looking outside of yourselves all the time, blaming someone on this or blaming someone for that and all the rest of this fucking drama that drives me batty. There was a time when it was entertaining. It's really, really boring.
I'll tell you I'll tell you how old it is, Kate. So remember how we were sharing yesterday, this is when the nations, the countries, the authorities, they really come out with all this stuff. We said that's the end. That's the end of it. Don't think that's, now it's out. No, that's the end. And here's where I'll share it. Yeah, for all you guys who live in London with all those cameras and stuff, that was on the physical level that they were showing you that. On another level, they already were tracking you, know where you were going, know your own thoughts. You're already trapped in their matrix world. That's just on a physical level showing you that. That happened a long time ago. We actually finished dealing with it a long time ago. So it's kind of funny that, to me, this whole NSA and all these cameras mounted, because I'm like, guys, I've known you've been friggin' watching this all along. Like, out of that fear realm. And You want to know something? Welcome to my mind. They run. They already had it. They didn't like it. And so what I'm getting at is stand in your power. Realize we've already finished that game.
Hey, Michael.
Yeah.
I really liked what you said a little while ago about when you hear something and you resonate with it. Even if you couldn't repeat what you just heard, because you just spoke for me, so thanks for that, because I couldn't have even put that together probably, and so it was nice to hear it. You just know, and you get it, and you think, yeah. And if you hear something else from another source and it's giving you a nice feeling of resonation, it's the same. But let's not forget the mirror of that, which is not resonating and just feeling. Even though you can't say why, somehow you're just not getting a nice vibe, or you can't follow the information. Somehow it's not clicking in your head in some way, or whatever it is. And you walk away as clueless as you arrived, and you just think, forget it, not going back there because it's nothing for me. Or maybe in a few years I'll try again, or whatever. You know, there's that opposite side, isn't there? The mirror again.
Yeah,
it isn't just about looking for what you resonate with. It's very much about also recognizing what you don't resonate with and not trying to make it fit. Don't force it.
Yes. Yeah. It's letting go of the parts of yourself that no longer serve you.
Yeah. Absolutely. You know, and Ninja, I don't get a chance to talk to you very often, and it's always when I do. You know, people forget the behind-the-scenes stuff that goes on that is far and beyond what happens on the table every night. You know, people forget of the work that is going on from so many of us behind the scenes that I can only report on so much. But the joy of being at this table and actually having my table in front of me called my computer is that everything I ever need in this universe is there. I know that. I don't think it, I know it. Because I trust me in my reality. I don't trust anything outside of it, so I'm only looking at things as they matter to me, what I want to contract with, what I want to intend, you know. And I can't thank you enough. And, yeah, you've made some pretty strong stances with me, you know, and a lot of times people will get confused with the stance and put a physical aspect to it. Me, it's got nothing to do with me. You know, like, Ninja, anytime and we've talked many times, because anytime you're referring to Kate, I know what that means allegorically. It's the writings. It's got nothing to do with me. I'm just a conduit that this passes through to give this is my point of consciousness to the rest of consciousness. Of course it is. This is my game. Now, everyone has to learn to say that to themselves and trust themselves to that level, and they'll see exactly what I'm talking about. Many of you do. Many of you are manifesting your own realities, and you're seeing it in bold technicolor. We're done with the dramas. This is a one for all and all for one game.
Yeah, Kate, that's where I want to wrap it around with. Because you don't have to worry about Big Brother, the system, looking at you. Because ultimately the only person you need to look at is you. Whether it's in a mirror or however it is, just to just reflect back on yourself. Again, there might be some ugly things in there. Don't worry about it. Let them go. So,
have you seen me in the morning or what?
Well, what I'm getting at is I heard Mark Passio in one of his presentations. And really, it was just like, what's the solution to all of this? And he put up a mirror on his slide. He was like, that's it. Go look in the mirror. I've done it. No, just imagine Mark Passio. He says, I've done it for countless hours. He said, I don't know how many hours, just really having to go at himself to really, in a way, peel back the layers of the onion to get to the core, to get to the truth of him. And a lot of the onions was whatever, you know, self-imposed or so-called outside imposed on himself, and to get the real raw truth of the matter. And he had me laughing. So again, the only if I got to look at this and take the polar opposite, or as we say, mirror, mirror, why are we looking at the NSA? Why are we looking at the drones and the satellites watching us? This is because on an external way, it's to remind you internally to look at yourself. That's it.
Mirror, mirror. One thought I want to share. Do you want to know how to tell the difference between ego and spirit? Ego says, look what I can do. Look how great I am. Look at this. I am causing this and I'm doing that. Okay, that's what ego does. What spirit does is exactly where I live. Look what you can do. Because I know you are a superstar in my movie. Look what we do. And every point of consciousness in my game is equally important. And why? You see, people sometimes come across, well, you're kind of knocking yourself, Kate. No, that's ego is saying that I'm knocking myself. I'm not. I am completely balancing myself. And I certainly don't need anyone to come in and try to be a balancer for me. Thanks very much for the offer, but no contract. Thanks. Okay? It's not up to anybody but me to balance me. And if I'm appearing out of balance, maybe that's a mirror that someone needs to go and fucking stare into for an hour or two, and maybe decide whether look what I can do can become look what you can do instead, you see. And that's what I do. And I'm used to having people come at me all the time with ego this and ego that. And of course it is. That's program. Am I gonna bite? Am I gonna buy into it? It says no. What I will do is I'll call it out as I see it from the way I balance things. Kind of in my sign anyway, Year of the Dragon, Libra, same sign. Yeah, okay, so for me, that's as powerful a zodiac to me as Gemini. But you see, everyone gets caught up in all of little zodiac. Look at me, I'm this, and look at me, I'm that. No, dopey, you're all 12, and you got to get all 12 disciples together before you can be Ophiuchus. Okay, and it's really, really simple. That is a pure. You want to talk about divide and conquer? Well, if you think you're one sign or the other, you're divided in 12 parts, and you're only picking up one of them. Just the same way that... Oh, go ahead, Michael.
Until I understood that, I didn't follow astrology. Because you're so right on. It was always... And because I'm Gemini, people are like, you're split. And then I was just like, no, I'm everything. They're like, no, you're two. And I'm like, no, I'm all. And then when I heard, yeah, you're right, you're all the zodiacs from Santos and you, what a relief.
Well, you are. The only thing that your sign is telling you exactly what your biggest fucking problem is. Let me go around and tell everybody what their biggest fucking problem is. What you need to see in the mirror. If you want to see your life path, just begin the game. Never mind end it. Just to begin it, you got to know this. This was pivotal for me. And this hit me about 3 years ago. Because I was in the zodiac. Not to the level I am now with the masterful teachings of people like Santo and Bill, for crying out loud. Like I said, I cherry-picked the best, baby. I'm the Gretzky standing at the net. And I got all the best forwards passing me the puck, and I'm shooting goals every time. Not because it's all about me, look at me. I'm thinking, no, I see wisdom. And I put pieces together because I'm an observer of the game. So here's what every one of you need to know, okay? If you are born in the sign of Aries, your sign says I am. You better learn real quick to how to be I am not. Taurus, I have. Well, yeah, you do. That's what Taurus does. It's the second sign for a reason. It cuts things in half. I cut things in half, and I have not. I don't cut things in half. I keep it as a singularity. That's a problem with the fixed signs, too. They get very fixated, right? Cardinal signs, there's a lot of power there. The fixed signs, there's a lot of fixation there. And understand that. These are the elements of your sign that you need to get a grip on. If your sign is you're fixed, you better learn to be unfixed. If your sign is cardinal, you better learn to be uncardinal. And if your sign is mutable, you better learn to be unmutable. And, typical, got another Gemini here, right? What's the mutable signs? We're airy fairies, like, woo, all over the map. We got to learn to not be all over the map and get focused. I mean, I've read so many zodiacs regarding Geminis. Well, they never get jobs done because they're too busy going off to the next project. And okay, well, I know that because I better stop doing that. Okay, so let's get to the.
We are collecting everyone's keys to make sure we get this thing finished.
Bingo.
That's you don't use it. Me or Kate has them. Let you know it.
Thank you. And that's what I do. I hand out keys. These are magic wands. Don't you want them? Here they are. I found this. This is cool or what? You know, these are toys. These are toys you can play with. So as a Gemini, we had to learn to not think. Pretty tough call. Pretty tough order for a Gemini to shut their brain down. Okay, that's part of the design. Remember, you came in with a design grid game. This is how this is a created game, and come in with a game piece with all the particular rules. You know, it's like Dungeons and Dragons, for crying out loud. You know, you go in as the wizard, or you go in as the sorcerer, or you go in as the princess, or the elf, or whatever the case may be. You have a certain set of guidelines that you operate with based on the character you show up with, and we are all video game characters. Literally, this is a virtual reality. Duh. It's a game. All right, so I'm trying to show people how to play the game. So the Geminians have to learn to say, I have to stop thinking, oh, what happens when you do? Then the messages come. Then you are the messenger. Let's go to Cancerians, okay? All you feelies got to stop being so fucking sucky. I fixed my Cancerian part of me, right? Third Deacon Gemini brings in a lot of the Cancerian I know, and being female sort of has that effect on me, you know? All right, so Cancerian part of you, Cancerians, your main path is to stop feeling so much. I feel, I don't feel. Now let's get to the Leo, shall we? And I'm going to pick on every sign because I'm every part of it, and I've had to pick apart every sign within me. So let's get to the Leo. I got a Leo ascendant. So the Leo says, "I will." Well, you better learn to start saying, "I will not." Because you're pissing people off, you're walking all over free choice, and you better wake up to it. Let's go to Virgo. I analyze. Yeah, you got to learn to not analyze, otherwise you're using your analyze, and where's your head stuffed? Clearly and cleanly and totally up your ass. So you better not analyze. You better learn to not analyze, and that's Mercury ruling Gemini and Virgo. You know, the thinking, very similar, but actually quite different. So let's swing from Virgo into the dark, shall we? Let's go to Libra. I balance. Well, then you better learn to throw it out of balance a bit so we can see the goddamn contrast. And that's what happens when you stand in truth. You throw things out of balance a little bit, and then you go, oh, and you find your mid. It's not about being balanced. It's about seeing the contrast of not being balanced. Let's go around to Scorpio. I want. Yeah, I know. You got to learn to not want. Want can be W-A-N-T or W-O-N-T. Want with the O means to need. Of course it's a water sign. So you have to learn to not need, not be so whiny. Gimme. That's the Scorpio in all of us. Okay, so that's the main key. This is one of the reasons why when Scorpios find their center, you are every sign, but these are the ones I know closely and closest of all. Scorpios are... You know, as soon as you put that stinger away, so you're not slamming everybody outside of you and slamming yourself, you'll be fine. And then you're perfect. I got lots of great Scorpios around me that get that. You know? So you got to learn to not want. I don't want. So moving from there, over to the Sagittarius. Out of balance Sagittarius, I just call them saggy Taurus. And what the Sagittarius says is, I see. Well, you better learn to see what you can't fucking see. That's my darkest mirror. That's why I went to that. I went to see, okay, well, I can't see infrared, I can't see ultraviolet, I can't see gamma. The concept, get the concept? Just because you don't see it doesn't mean it's not there. And the problem with seeing is you're stuck in the physical literal. You're staring at it. What do you see and what don't you see? These were critical things for me. That's the pinpoint start. So you better start looking at what you can't see. Moving from Sagittarius, let's go over to is it Capricorn next? Yeah. From Sagittarius to Capricorn. The Capricorn is there's the Christ part of the zodiac. Of course you have Christ in you, for crying out loud. And it says, I experience. Well, you better learn to not experience. And then, once you learn to not experience, then you learn to simply see it as an experience. Critical. If it's just an experience, you accept all things as the Christ consciousness does, then you're seeing it for the first time the way you need to. Oh, isn't that interesting? Well, I don't wish to experience that anymore. I won't experience it, so I go somewhere else. If you want to keep experiencing nonsense, then keep doing nonsense. Keep planting ragweed after ragweed harvest and expect roses. You're fucking insane if you do. So from Capricorn, we move over to Aquarius, which is the age we're in. I know. Then you better start looking at the I don't know. Because if you're still caught on Pisces, which says I believe, then you're still in Pisces. That's why these two signs are so beautifully interacted. The whole game is perfect when you see it. So the Aquarian, well, says I know. Well, that's a beautiful ego feed, if you let it. Better start thinking about what you don't know. And what are opinions and what are beliefs. Rid of the remnants of the Pisces. The age we came out of. I'm not picking on Pisces because without Pisces we don't have a game at all. That's why it's the other duality sign. That's why it's the lowest on the zodiac. It's the beginning level of the movie. That's why we came here. This is a fun game. You know, we've come a long way to get to this point. And the Pisces says, I believe. Well, you know what? Religiocosus Chosenitis mentality that people have. This is the Pisces in everyone. You better stop believing. Maybe start knowing. Then you're going to move into Aquarius. And then when you realize that you know something, it's only based on what you don't know. What do you know? If you're stuck in the literal, you're still using your Sagittarian, I see only literal, then you're not seeing the hidden, so you don't know shit. Do you see how they all interact? And it's very simple. So look at your sign in particular, and your biggest clue is sitting right there in front of your fucking face, and you're missing it. So from that, then you can start working around the zodiac. Until you do, you are blind. And it really is that simple. You want a game plan? I don't know how many times I got to bring Santo on here. How many times he has to show up to drill this point home. I take it to a different level, but then again, I'm cherry picking who? One of the best. What do you expect? Garbage? This is what co-creation is. This is not I have a better idea than Santo. I have a different perspective from him. Same with Bill. Same with you. Same with everybody. We're just different points of you. Get this through your skulls. And quit being fucking babies. Quit picking fights. Quit making accusations. Quit thinking that you fucking know everything, because I sure as hell don't. In this position right now, because I wouldn't have a game if I did. But I certainly know a lot more now than I did yesterday and 10 years ago. Look at yourself in the mirror. Are you still doing the same shit you were doing 10 years ago? If you are, you're still fucking sleeping. If you want something new, you do something new. And if you want something new, K-N-E-W, you do something new. It really is that simple. So there's a little skip around the zodiac. So sort your own sign out first. That's your main, that's your elf, that's your sorcerer, that's your wizard, that's your princess. Okay? That's your character. That's the game plan you came in with, your starting point. Where do you want to begin? Well, starting point is usually a good place. So sort out the mirror of your sign within you. Because if you cannot fix that one, well, you're back for another round, and you can play all you want, but you won't be in my consciousness. I'm sliding to another one. And right now, what you're experiencing is the drama that I love to portray to get it through the thick ego skulls. I know, mine was pretty thick too. I have the contrast. I accept the contrast. Been there, done that, got the t-shirt, threw it away, took the tank top instead. Much more comfortable. Lighten up, guys. Lighten up.
Okay, no drama here. That was one of the most beautifulest things I ever heard. I was laughing. I'm going to go back and listen to the show and actually write it down, swears and all. Because fucking A, you rock, man.
We're right back at you. I mean, that's why you guys are here. You're the mirrors. Of course, you see, it's just how we co-create. So when I see my co-creation of me in the image of God, that means we're doing it right. If you're still looking at others like they're somehow doing something wrong or you're picking at them, that is you that you need to sort out, you silly shit. Not the one you're accusing. That's the way I look at it now, have for a long time. And it took a bit of fine-tuning. Sorry if it's not appealing to your ego enough, quick enough, because you're too busy wanting to attack other things. Have a look in the mirror. That which you accuse another of is what you are guilty of, you fucking morons. Good? How was that? I was trying for the extended version of the over the top. Was that okay?
Hey, Kate, that was a beautiful bitch of the day.
Oh, okay. No, I like to kind of step into the dramatic theater in school, right? So, I just want to make sure that I'm getting it across.
I like to give also. That's good. And then you're like, that's beautiful, isn't it? You got that out.
Man.
It's all the time that you still know that you've got to sort some shit out.
Yeah.
And there's no point. Rah 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 rah. Because how I see you, Kate, is walking that neutral zone, and you just like bat it off here and you bat it off there, and pitting.
Pretty much. Yeah, you got a good visual of my walk. That's exactly it. I see something, please, dunk. No contract. Sorry, that's childish. Let's move on. And I'm saying it in fun. Now, here's the difference. Here's the difference, guys. Check this out. All right. Now, this is if I was just going to be a normal, what's normal? A normal radio host that comes to the air and says, "Hello, everybody. Yeah, listen, thank you for tuning into Outside the Box." And I keep that monotone the whole time. How long have I got your attention? How much passion am I rising in you with that? When I come on and call you a fucking dopey whatever, got your attention. And I'm looking to see what emotions are still, if you're wrestling with it within you, then the words still have an effect. And they're controlling you. The sigils, the little squiggly lines that you think are real, and I'm going to send this notice, and I'm going to do this, and all the rest of it. It's like I said to the gentleman earlier tonight. So do not send anything until you read it, get the concept, and then send it, because sending the spell is worthless without the power. Duh? It's like this. It's like throwing a hand grenade. Oh, I forgot to pull the pin. Pull the pin. Then throw it. Just a suggestion. So read the document, pull the pin, then throw it. Grenade! Get it? Okay. Oh, by the way, let's take a consensus. Which version of me would you rather have? The, hi, how's it going? Everybody happy and we're having a great time playing the game and all the rest of it? Or would you like the normal version of me, the outside-the-box crazy tranny? What would you prefer?
Well, I think the first one I'd have to tell you to shut the fuck up in all seriousness. And the second one I'd tell you to shut the fuck up and be laughing my ass off.
There you go. And you know what? I can accept both sides of me easily. Well put. I couldn't have said it better myself. Perfect. See, I told you you're perfect. Now let's get Mark back in here. He got bumped again. He's got bumped a couple of times. I do have the board open, and it is functional. Yeah, there we go.
Look at the word. Telepathic conversation. Many times people have this deja vu, or did we talk about this before? And I'm like, on a certain level of our consciousness, we have this telepathic communication conversation already. And many times this is just a confirmation.
That's all this is. We've already created this. All we're doing is experiencing the infinite creation from the crosshairs of the intent we have at this moment. This is how you move the crosshairs across the lateral west to east from Cain, from the Canaanites. Are you a Canaanite? Well, I know everyone in the system is a Canaanite, quite literally. Or are you able? Are you a shepherd? Are you the true shepherd? And by the way, I mentioned it earlier, I want to remind everybody that God is darkness, the void, not the light.
I want to talk about this system. All the buildings you see, all the cars, electronics, metal products, whatever you want to call it. One way is not the system. The system is a few thoughts that we've still believed in, and that's about it. Everything else, when we move out of those thoughts, doesn't matter we have all the crap still around, we'll clean it up finally. That's it. That's how big the system really is, guys. A few old thought forms and beliefs. We need to just put the rest.
Perfect. Perfect. Well, apparently, I think the overall consensus is that they prefer the mouthy tranny. Because it's way more entertaining. Hey, you know what? Truth should be fun, yeah? So let's have fun. Let's play, you know? By the way, tomorrow Bill will get the lighter version of me, of course. You know, it's not my table, so I'll treat it accordingly. I'm not sure what people don't understand about that. Now, mind you, when I go on...
Bill,
absolutely.
Anyone watches videos, wow, he's funny as fuck.
He's hilarious. Absolutely hilarious.
Because he gets the joke. Totally.
Yeah, well, here, I guess that makes me... I have a couple of daughters, so I guess that makes me a transparent.
Yeah.
You can see right through me. I love it. Oh, my God. This just gets funnier and funnier. See what I mean? Like, just... the wit. When you're funny, what are you called? You're called witty. That means you're knowy. You're in a state of knowingness. Knowy. You're very knowy. Oh, man.
Yeah, I love the word wit. I've been accused of having a very sharp wit by a lot of my English friends. And I said, because your wit wasn't funny, and you thought it was. And I had a very dry, sharp wit, according to them. They just didn't like the joke being handed back at them. And I always found that ironic because, well, they were the ones that kind of shared with me that funniness again.
Oh, exactly. I just want to mention to you, I don't know if you have the board open or Mark got bumped again, but there's a couple of callers sitting there, and I'm pretty sure one might be...
I'm glad you said that, Kate. I was going to mention that as I've got a moment. Yeah, there are some callers, and I wonder if you guys wanted to take calls and see what's going on out there.
Always. I've got 509 and 661. So your mics are open, guys, so come on in.
Hi there, you fabulous, bright, shining light, you.
Hey, Lynn, how are you? I thought that was you.
Yeah, quite well. I just wanted to jump in because everybody's talking about resonating with truth, and I'm at this table because I recognize and resonate with the truth that you're speaking here. And while I'm not always able to verbalize those allegories, I have this crazy idea that my higher self's got my back on this. And when I go inward, I will, gain those deeper understandings that I need, And I just, it's the patience thing. And but on a daily basis, there is something that, I'm on the same page with you about. You had been talking about pushing through things, and that very day I had been telling myself to just push through the pain. And I've always believed that we're all, each and every one of us, a superstar. In fact, I remember a title I had come up with, I don't know when, my teens maybe, The Fall and Rise of a Superstar. The opposite, of course. And you had been talking about making amends, and by golly, I had some opportunities to make some amends, It's such a wonderful thing to be here and one way or the other being on the same page. And my journey's always been the inward journey, learning to love and know myself. And my gosh, where it's taken me is just amazing. The people that I've met around this world that are like-minded, it's just amazing. You're beautiful, beautiful mirrors, and I'm just in awe and gratitude with this one. So
yes. So here it is in a nutshell. And let me just drill this one point home.
Uh-huh.
With Santo, how much trouble do you think he has in standing in truth?
None.
Right. So what do you think is manifesting around him right now? Truth.
Lots of truth. Truth,
I don't know
freedom.
about you, but that's the thing about being awake, is you walk around with a bag full of grenades, and you launch them everywhere. And we know how to pull the pins now. We plant the kangaroos in their outhouse and let it kick the shit out of it. The same seeds that worked on you to put you in fear, guess what it does? Those same ragweed seeds are the ones that are sent from those that are delivering the ragweed seeds. So plant roses of truth back. Stop planting the ragweed. I demand this, and I demand this, and where's that going to get? Real circular, real quick, and real stupid. So instead, I demand this. Oh, well, here, you might want to look at that first before you start making that demand, and then we'll see what goes from there. So give them a rose with peace, love, and no vengeance.
Yeah, have you heard this, Kate? Well, just imagine in one way that now all the guys that Santos has come in contact with, he said, hey, share Kate's writings. Send it to your public defender. Have them file this in court right now. And then the whole Australian penal system, everyone in jail is filing your papers into the system.
Again, this is our papers. I mean, I'm just a conduit.
Our papers, yes. But okay, Santos will tell him, put your name on there, own it. You're God also.
Okay, well, here, I'll make it really easy for people. Do you consider yourself the spirit of love?
Yeah,
love, did you say? Love?
Okay, then you are Kati. You are Kate. It's an allegory. The name of God is the spirit of love. Let's get anagogic. You are all spirit of love. I lay no claim to any name. Merely the intent and purpose contained within it. Kati. So if you are sending Kati's paperwork, whose paperwork is it? It's yours. I am merely one of those conduits within your consciousness, within your movie. You did want to have superstars in your movie along with you, right? That's what I want, because I know everyone was a superstar. You don't need, only ego needs to be, well, look, I'm all that in a bag of chips. Sure you are, but you're asleep. So I'll tell you what, I'm going to let you be asleep, and that's okay. But you are a superstar. Trouble is, you're the one that has to realize it without the ego. So whose paperwork is it? It is yours. You are the spirit of love, yes or no? Of course you are. So if it comes from Kati's writing, it comes from the spirit of love's writing. You. That's why you must, before you send any of this stuff, you must read it. It must resonate. Otherwise, it is just, like George Bush said, a goddamn piece of paper.
Yeah. Well, that just reminds me. That's what money is. We've been playing with monopoly money all this time thinking it's real.
Yep.
And I'm like, yeah, I bought something. Doesn't mean it's real to me. It's just as imaginary as the shit written on it. Because most of those symbols, I don't believe in them, so they don't have any power over me.
Agreed. Hey, do you want to do the shadow tonight, or do you want Ninja or Mark or myself?
Go for it, Kate.
Actually, I'm going to go for it, Ninja. We don't hear you.
Okay.
We don't hear Ninja enough.
Yeah, Ninja, go for it.
Because, too often I'm sleeping, for sure. But, here we are.
Yeah.
So,
by the way, just before you do that, Ninja, just to remind everybody, Ninja is criticalmassradio.co.uk. She's the station manager. So who better than that to share that?
Okay, here we go then. So, please, to all the family around the table and to all the new people that perhaps don't know this yet, new members of the family around the table, please consider supporting the station by sharing the links, etc., to criticalmassradio.co.uk. And we really do need to thank Paul Giovanni, whose brainchild, love child this whole station is. And without him, we wouldn't be here, having our voices shared around the universe for all eternity, in the archives, forever, in the Akashic. I'm waxing a bit lyrical, but yeah, indeed. So, okay. And, do go to the station main site at criticalmassradio.co.uk and check out the buttons on the right-hand side and the left-hand side. One is for donations and one is for subscriptions for a regular monthly contribution to keep the station rolling. Love to everyone and enjoy the rest of the show, everybody. And, back over to...
just a mental note for everybody. You don't have to, in order to be a part of criticalmassradio.co.uk, you do not have to be a subscriber or a donator. Everything there is already free. It is your free will choice if you want to be a part of it, and it must be your choice. If you want to partake, great. And if you don't, great. It's still there.
Yeah, all the archive recordings are actually free on Critical Mass Radio. They've always been free, and that is the intention that they remain that way. And so, can feast upon... hours and hours and hours of so many wonderful host shows, absolutely free, all the time. Planning to keep it that way. Enjoy.
Yeah. And if you want to see some real drama, go back about 6 months and, you'll catch me at my whiniest best, Come on. It's some entertaining radio. It really is. And don't forget, you can call in at 661-467-2401, or you can call in via Blog Talk on the page you're listening on at the Skype button. If it's not there, it should be. Mine always is. It comes up first time. But if it's not there, just refresh the page, click on the Skype button, and log in either using a Blog Talk account or a Facebook or a Twitter account. It's really that simple, and it will direct you to the board. Once on the board, all you have to do is hit 1 on your dial pad on the phone to get in, to let us know that you want in the call. And on Skype, you have to hit the little plus sign, then open up the show dial pad, hit 1 there, and that brings you to the board as well to let us know that you're already on the board, but that lets us know that you want to be in the call. And I do make a point of opening everyone's mic. It gets a little tough if you open one mic opened at 3 minutes to the end of the show. Unless, of course, you're someone who wants me in a Macy's window to kiss my ass, at which point I'm going to keep that line open. It's all good. That was funny there, and I loved that. So there you go. And it's up to you guys if you want to roll over, because I've got the table here. Actually, Ninja has. You don't actually have to be at the table, Ninja. You know that, right?
No, I'm fine. I'm feeling good. I'm not falling asleep or anything, so we can do whatever they like, so it's fine.
Okay, there you go, because once the show's opened, you've got the table. If you do disconnect from Skype after the recording, if we do go into that, the show drops. That's the other reason why I'm very hesitant now to bring people into the call with me, because any unstable Skype connections, mine included, from anyone I bring in, it interferes with the Blog Talk because it's trying to reboot itself all the time, and I've lost too many shows by doing that, so I really refrained from doing it. So I'm going to ask everyone to not ask me, because my heart says, I want to bring you in. But it's really not hard to call in via Skype, and I could be solving everyone's problems as far as internet connections and all the rest of it. I had to solve my own. So, try and try again. It's very simple. Yeah, I well figured it, and all is well. It's all perfect. So back to the hosts, Mike and Mark, and floor is yours. I'm going to disappear for a bit.
I don't know about you, Mike, but I've been thinking about what Kate said about the charts and the individual light components of oneself.
Oh, I loved it, man. My sun sign is Gemini.
Great.
So my is to not think. And I had a lot of practice with that.
Can I share something that just downloaded? Mark, you nailed it.
And of course.
Okay. Let's look at the allegory of DNA. What has everyone been talking about? Well, we only have, single strand of DNA, and we're looking to get into the second and third. Actually, the completed Christ is how many strands of DNA? 12, right? So your zodiac sign that you're in is the first strand of your DNA. Once you master other strands, other zodiacs, you get those strands of DNA. DNA is program, isn't it? If you want to understand the program, you better download it, and that's what it is. That just clicked. So there's your you want a sturdy Jacob's ladder? There it is. You got 12 strands on the vertical. holding all your steps in place. I just wanted to share that. So there was another level, because we've heard everyone talk about DNA and this, we're due for an upgrade and all. Yeah, you're it. You choose the upgrade. So, hey, Mark, what is your zodiac?
I'm a Virgo, Kate.
Virgo. So yeah, you got the same issue that we got. The whole thinking shit. Yeah. Isn't it fun?
Oh God, too much left brain thinking shite.
I'm
God,
just chilling out in my experience mode here, so yeah, that's all good.
Excellent. See, we can look at ourselves and laugh now, thinking, "Oh my God, that was so obvious." But come on, guys, it wouldn't have been a game otherwise. So lighten up, let's have some fun. Anyway, I'm gone now.
Certain parts of the day, remember what Santos reminded us of. During certain parts of the day, where each sign comes into play. So remember, he was saying during this time you have to watch out about your anger, and this time. So this is the same. Another way, not just to reflect in a certain situation. But as your day goes along, I bet you this plays out.
Yeah, and let's talk about the now moment. Is it 12 noon somewhere on the planet right now?
Right. So we're going to always have all of it within the moment.
Exactly. So you must have the 12 disciples with you at all times in order to wield the Ophiuchus healer.
Hello, whiny Scorpio.
Hey, you're one of my favorite Scorpios, Bindi.
Yeah. Oh, well. It's fun.
Hey, Bindi.
Good day, Mark. Is this Mark or?
It's Mark.
Mark, yep, got the right voice. Right. Hi.
Hello.
Good to hear you guys. I'm having you guys on the hosting. It's awesome. Yep. The flow is nice. The flow's been good all day. This is a nice little nightcap.
Yeah, kid, I got to hear you earlier a little bit on No Borders, and that just flowed beautifully, man. It's good.
That was pure eyes download, except for when I was reading contracts.
Yep. I mean, those guys, they right there, like you were saying earlier, they yeah.
I was going to ask, were you in the chat room?
No. I was I forget what I was doing at that moment.
Having a chat with me, Mike.
Yeah, at one point. Yes, I was. And then I had to make lunch, and then I had to go walk over there, and beautiful day. Yeah, it's interesting. Here I am, guys, and it's 3:40 in the afternoon. When the show is finished, I still got plenty of the day left for me.
It's 2:40 at night in the morning, so I've got plenty of morning left.
In one way, I'm like, man, it's beautiful. I love it. It's shining. Just to remind you, at all points in consciousness, it's shining right now. It's shining right now for me, so it must be shining in all our points of time and consciousness also. And also dark, and also, but not the scary, bad fiction. You know, in some ways we take things so serious when we read too much of the news. Yeah, there's horror. People die. People get killed. And that's one of the reasons why we really want to speak truth and consciousness and have it flow through all of us as much as we can with this love vibration. So we don't live in a world of that anymore. We're in a world of no harm. And glad I'm here.
Yeah, it really is a choice of what reality you want. You know, again, keep in mind that it's just a movie. Okay?
Yeah,
that's the hardest. That's the hardest thing to do, because something outside of you, if it died, is it real, or is it virtual reality? Right? Are you going to get emotionally attached to it, or are you going to simply be like a dog that sniffs a squirrel and says, "Oh, it's dead. It's not there anymore," and keep going? The dog doesn't stop and think about, "Gee, I wonder what happened. Did it fall off the wire? Did it get run over by a car? Was it shot? Was it?" And that's what humans do. That's left brain, trying to figure it out, instead of just looking at it and going, "Interesting." Being the observer of the movie, we've gotten so involved and so into this movie in order to have this game. And when you're done with this level, which I am, it's boring. I want to fly again. I want to teleport. I want to go visit other worlds. I want to, we've got one hell of a panorama that we've created around us, Truman. Okay? I just want to... You see, here's the thing about consciousness. We are trapped in our own mind. That is the box. There is no escaping that consciousness of the why. Okay? But there is, in its complete mirror, ultimate imagination and expansiveness, with no borders, limitless. So in the fact that we are limited within our own mind, we are also limitless within our own mind. A singularity. It's simple. Freedom, you will never be free and you will always be free at the same time. You will never be free from the consciousness of knowing that you are God. That's a fact. You are consciousness. I know that. I pondered this last night very heavily. Really to balance it out, because I had to see the freedom and the enslavement of it. So yes, we are trapped in our own mind. More so, we are trapped in a body in that regard to have this game. So we have the sense of this is what we're trying to give ourselves a sense of what it feels like to truly be trapped, so that we can truly experience our limitless aspect. We have no borders. We have no boundaries. We have no limitations. All we have is creation itself, which is all we have. So the further your viewpoint can go, the greater you are. You are only trapped in the illusion of your own mind, thinking you are trapped, when it's quite the opposite at the same time. You choose between being really engulfed in this game or really engulfed in a bigger game. We'll always have this. We'll always be trapped within our own freedom, and we will always be free within our own trap. That is what consciousness is to me. The game of God not being God. The game of freedom and slavery at the same time. We cannot escape our own minds. The only time we do that, and we never do it because we're off, playing somewhere else, right, is when we get the illusion of not being awake by being asleep. It's rather quite interesting. It's quite the paradox, and it's a perfect paradox when you begin to accept it and understand it. So I just wanted to share that based on what you were saying there, Michael. And you guys, I got to tell you, you trigger beautiful little buttons with me. So thank you for that.
Oh, you're doing it with us, Kate, and the whole table.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, we're all, whether you're called in, you're listening. This is, in one way, we're reminding ourselves of the next level of communication. This is telepathic communication. Coming through a thing we call a computer or a cell phone. That's just a little toy in your hand to get you to remember that. It's even simpler than that. As Kate says, you're talking to yourself sometimes, and I'm laughing because I feel like that right now.
Yeah, well, you are. You're talking to yourself. I'm just another point of you that you're talking to because it feels like it's something in somebody else, but it's not. So did anybody really die out there? Well, you're not consciousness, so you can't prove it, can you? Are you alive? Are you awake? Are you aware? Then what do you have to be afraid of? Merely are you going to get caught in the illusion of thinking that it's real because you buy into it, or are you going to simply accept the fact that you are immortal? Choose the latter. I'm good with that. Immortal, I'm mortal. Same word, two different meanings.
Yep, totally. But it's one and the same.
Yeah, it's a singularity. We are all immortal. We just choose between being the I'm mortal or the not mortal. The I'm death of all or I'm not death of all. It's pretty cool. Did I mention something? Have I ever mentioned about phonics and actually listening to words and maybe rearranging them by breaking all the rules and using all the rules against it in a singularity? Have I ever brought that up? Maybe. It's in the sound, boys and girls. All creation.
I want to talk about being aware of the world we walk in. And most of the times we're under this illusion that we're walking in the Matrix all the time. And I beg to differ, even if you're in a city. And this is, for me, how much I view nature. To me, this is all nature. And the Matrix is, again, thought control program. By each and every one of us. Because each and every one of us has a little thought control program that we did on ourselves, which is our own personal joke in a way. And when you hear yourself saying it to yourself again, it is one of the funniest things you'll ever hear. And it will encompass the whole world in a few words, the explanation of everything. That's how funny it is. And you know it, because you wrote it. Wow, so with that, you start recognizing nature for being a higher consciousness, a fifth dimensional being. And that when you're resonating with her and connecting with this planet, that's where you're at. And then you get all lost in these words. We're in the third dimension, we're in the fourth dimension, this is that. And I'm like, oh, wait a second here. Where was that clarity? Where was that simple knowing? Oh, yeah. When you're in the nature, you're in your heart and your higher consciousness. And with this is a reminder of this planet and myself that the words, again, are not finding me, but not necessary. It's the feeling of the heart, man. And
okay, one final note for me, then I'm jetting. Ninja was going to let you guys know. But don't forget tomorrow, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, yours truly with Bill Donahue, astrotheologyradio.com. I'll post everything on Facebook as I can if the net's working. But I'll see you there, and then I'll see you at the table from 7 to 9 tomorrow night, and we're going to have some rock and roll fun tomorrow. This planet is done. We got a game. We got game. Okay, so much love to everybody, and thanks, Mike and Mark. You guys can continue on as long as you want. Ninja's got the board. I guess she's the boss, so much love to everybody, and we'll catch you guys tomorrow. Fair enough?
Aloha.
And great job, guys. I love just the beautiful, peaceful, calm. Certainly contrast to me most nights, but there you go. That's exactly what needs to happen. And love you all, and thank you for being a beautiful reflection of me.
Thank you, Kate.
Much love. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Good night.
Much love.
Good night.
So I know where I was going with that, Mark. I was remembering that how much everything is nature. Everything around us is built from nature. Even the steel, even the metal, even the plastic comes from nature. And yes, it's been misused, but that's not the matrix. It's how we use it, how we think about it, how we believe about it. That's the matrix. So even if we see all this junk around us, that we think, oh, this is a system, I'm living in, what do we call, what's another name for London?
The smoke.
Yeah, and, because it's just cement everywhere.
Well, that's
like
the old name for
Mega
it.
City number 1 or something, because you know how much London has grown and incorporated and just swallowed every village and surrounding area. But even those houses, what I'm saying, that's people who live in them. That brick, that mortar, that whatever, that's nature still. Even the junk that the TV is made out of is still nature. So what I'm getting at is, when you look at it like that, I feel the power of nature. I don't feel the power of the system with all this junk around me controlling me. Mark?
Yeah, I'm just listening, Mike, because it's.
Remember, like,
I know exactly what you're saying.
Yeah, because it's like if you live in the country outside where it's all nature, like where I live, I'm pretty much surrounded. Across the street's the ocean, and you can swim to kingdom come. Or you can hike up the mountains, go into the valleys, and even if you're in the city or in a place that's not that, it's just. And I've been there, man. I've been in. I've lived in London. I've been in Delhi and Bombay and enough big cities. Tokyo put me for a spin. But you can always connect. That's what I'm trying to share. You can always connect.
I've got a connection story with nature, I mean. Anybody who's heard me recently has heard me talking about the wild birds here in the forest that we've been feeding for some weeks, and they now feed from our hand when we go anywhere near the window. They start almost queuing up to fly towards us, There's a variety of them, and several of them come to the hand. Several different species come to the hand. But today, we always feed them in the kitchen window, but today I was in the bathroom and I was looking out the bathroom window, and one of the birds saw me at the bathroom window, and he flew there, but it wasn't open, so I thought, he wants to come and say hi, so I opened the window, and sure enough, he came straight to my hand, but I had no peels in the bathroom. And he just sort of looked at me a bit confused and flew away again. And I thought, okay, so I'll have to keep a little stash of peanuts in the bathroom in a little plastic tub for the next time. Such beautiful things. They just recognize you, and they just know, okay, that means I can get something. Small thing to many people that have grown up in this kind of environment, but I am from London, the big city, and it's totally a fascination for me at the moment, and it's a beautiful thing. And actually, two of these birds were having a little bit of a barney with each other yesterday on the branch. One of them flew to get a peanut, and the other one was flying, and one pushed the other out of the way. And then they went up on the branch and had a bit of a set to with each other. Like, I would go in there, And then one came back down, but he was obviously agitated from his little barney, and he didn't take the peanut. He just pecked my finger and flew off again. That's such wonder at these creatures, And if you can do nothing but feed a few birds, stick a birdhouse on a tree near your window and just get into a connection with them, because I find that very, very healing every day to do that. I'm done.
It's beautiful. Yeah, I love it when you can connect with nature like that.
Yeah, everybody has to do it daily.
Yep. I hear you, Ninja. I've got a bunch of all kinds of birds here too. Been feeding them for years. I recognise all the families. I know all the youngs, and it's you get a real relationship with them if you're patient. It's beautiful.
Yeah, we have this beautiful songbird here, and maybe one day it will come and play for us. Beautiful lilting voice, and it's got this long tail. And I have a chair in my garden where I sit and have a smoke, and she loves to poop all over it. I'm looking at it right now, and it's just got bird poop all over it, and she plays the most beautiful song.
We've been listening, if that's the one you're talking about that's been in the background during the call. I've been listening.
Yeah, that's. I don't think that's the one. You'll hear it. It's
a different one. Okay.
Oh, you can hear all kinds behind you, but also kids. Yeah.
Now I'm hearing even more and more as you guys been talking about it.
Of course.
Beautiful.
And now we're talking about birds and connecting at any location. I mean, it just suddenly popped into my that story that they made into a movie many years ago, that Birdman of Alcatraz. And and now I understand, the idea that is something to live for, almost, that connection with that other energy, that other beautiful, expression of nature, because we had nothing else to do, literally nothing else. And I've got plenty else, but I still look forward to that every day now.
Yeah, for sure. I guess that's why I live here, and because I guess I need it in spades.
Yeah, and the animals are beautiful teachers. They're so patient.
We're just going over into the recording. Last few seconds for anybody who wants to call in quickly, very, very quickly. Everybody who's already in the call, stay with us. We're rolling over, and we'll keep going. I don't know about anybody else, but I would really, really like to hear some music this evening. And now would be a good time if you want my opinion, which you got anyway. What do you guys think? I'll give you my opinion before I ask you if you want it.
I will give you my opinion when you ask it. Yeah.
Oh, hail the ninja.
Oh, hail the ninja. No, none of that. Why are you still standing?
Anyway, yes, Maestro.
Very good, ninja. Sharp as a razor blade.
Yeah, ninja. We were talking about music. I got a lot of music I've been wanting to share. And I got lots of different beautiful music, and if I can somehow play it from my end where it sounds good, I'd love to do that.
Well, what you can do
not right
is...
now. Not right now.
No. But what you can do is you can upload some of it to the board so that it's here for the next time, and then you can play it from here.
Yeah, excellent. I'll choose some.
Yeah, you just need an MP3, I believe, and we'll sort that out for next week. So it's going to be Thursdays then. Shall we make a date for next Thursday, you guys?
Yeah, Mark.
Okay.
Yeah, if this says in
Bindi,
shifting consciousness, where we don't have to do this anymore. Okay.
All right. Yeah. So for everyone, listening, tune in next Thursday for the M&M show on the Outside the Box platform on Critical Mass Radio. CMR. We love you. So I'm going to play a song. Any requests, anyone?
Thanks, Ninja. Whatever you feel.
Okay, here we go. Hello again, Montana.
We drove across Montana underneath the summer sky. It had to be 10 years since I've ever felt this high. It was a clear and sunny Monday. Still smell the summer tires burning up more highway and the reasons to tell me why. Hello again, Montana. Do you still remember me? I know it's been a long time. There's only half of me. Hello again, Montana. You haven't changed that much. It's so nice to see your roads again. So nice to feel your touch. Hello again, Montana.
loved your blue skies. Always made her feel at home. Said one day we'd move here, but one day soon that never came. I lost her last December, when the cancer claimed one more. So I've come to spread her ashes in this place that she adored. Hello again, Montana. Do you still remember me? I know it's been a long time. There's only half of me. Hello again, Montana. You haven't changed that much. It's so nice to see your roads again. So nice to feel your touch. Hello again, Montana. We drove across Montana, underneath the summer sky.
Hello, everyone. We're back. Hi, guys. This is M&M's. We've got some callers here with their hand up. So, if you don't mind, we can open those up. What do you think? We're ready for a call?
Yeah, bring them in.
We've got area code 805 and area code 541, both unmuted. Hello, area code 805.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, Ninja. This is Colleen.
Oh, Colleen. Yeah, hi. Yeah. And
Hi.
area code 541, your mic is open as well.
Hello, everyone. M&M.
Aloha.
Aloha.
Hello.
Hi. I guess Kate's gone. I have a few things to share, but oh my gosh. I'm just like in a different zone listening to the song Montana. The first time Kate played that, I guess it's been a few months now, it really connected deep with me. My oldest sister, PJ, she spent a lot of time in Yellowstone, Montana, and her husband would travel around, and they would be hired at like the Grand Canyon and Yellowstone and at different jobs because they so love nature and wanted to be out in it as much as possible. But when Kate played that the last time, I was thinking of my sister when she was in Montana, and she got cancer. And I was thinking of that, and my thought was, why didn't she listen to me with all the natural remedies for the cancer, like so many of us on here listening and have expressed before that, we're the black sheep of the families, and so many of the time our own families won't listen to us, but she actually got cancer. And I was thinking of that when Kate played the song, and it's right at the exact same time the word in the song cancer came up, I thought cancer with my sister. So listening to it tonight, I just went right back into that deep zone and the connection and synchronicities to all of it. So I just wanted to share that, and also
thanks for sharing that. Yeah, thanks for sharing that. It's very, very personal and very deep and very traumatic, these cancer deaths that most of us have experienced in the families and friends, and it is even more so now that we understand the cures and how simple it is, and this whole shocking lie. But having said that, the consciousness is changing now. People are understanding a lot more how to help themselves, and we're changing that. But that doesn't exist in my reality anymore. Just don't have it in there anymore. Mm.
No, my sister died in 2001, and I know today that she would have tried cannabis or something like that. I know she would have. So things really are changing, and sometimes we sit back and we think, oh my gosh, is this world ever going to change? And then, in the next breath, there are so many people waking up and people that we talked to last week that wouldn't have even listened to anything that we had to say are now asking us questions. So it really is the quickening. And I'm sure all of you listening are feeling that, the quickening. But Mark had said earlier, hail Ninja, and I was thinking, Ninja, to ask you if you would read your beautiful poem, Pedestal.
Yeah.
Yes, I had been thinking the last, few days especially, that just observing different things on Facebook and that whole thing of putting people on the pedestal, like Santos or Kate, and now, with Bill being interviewed tomorrow. And I thought, gosh, I would love for Ninja to read that poem. Would you do that for us, just as a reminder?
Yeah, just talk amongst yourselves while I find it, and I'll do that, yeah.
Okay, great. I don't know if you've ever heard that, Michael and Mark. She had read it, I don't know, it's been 8 months or longer now.
Oh, it's not one of the newer ones.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I've heard.
You haven't heard it, Mark?
Yeah, if it was 8 months ago, I don't think I would have heard it.
Okay. It was at least that. But while she's getting that, the nature stories, and I so connect with what you're saying, Michael, of nature. And, she's definitely my healing balm. And I was one of the pioneers. My daughter is almost 19 now for the, if you want to call it homeschooling. We did homeschooling. We did unschooling. We did travel schooling because life is school. And I would just take her to the ocean, and she learned at a very young age how to spell dolphin in the sand while seeing the dolphin out in the ocean. That is education. That is life. That is what life is about. And another time, while we were out, there was a homeless man, and he chose to be homeless, and he just went all up and down the beach along the coast. And he would do these incredible stone statues out of the river stones. And it was like defied logic how these things would balance and stay. And one day in homeschool, we ran into him with my daughter, and she was 4 at the time, almost 5. And she spent an hour with him, and he taught her about balancing the stones and just his wisdom that he brought in from his years of experience, just being out there, if you want to call it, free and out of the system as much as he, was able to, being a homeless person, which pretty much is. So when you were saying about getting your kids out of the school, it really is a choice. It's priorities. I made the choice to drive an older car so I wouldn't have to work to make payments for cars and for mortgages. That puts us in this slave state, and dropping kids off with people that you don't even know. So you can go out and make this money to pay for these cars and to consume these things while we're dropping our kids off. It's insanity. And we've got to get back to the villages and community and really being there for each other and seeing how this has all been, by design to keep us in this slave state and away from our true connection with Gaia and with our true power.
See, I would sort of say that a lot of people look at the money. They say follow the money, follow the road of money, and it leads back to Rome. But like I said just recently, that it's not about the money. It's all about the land. There's nothing to do with Industrial Revolution. Why man, woman, child in my particular little island were pushed off the land to go into the cities. It's always been about the land.
Yeah.
Always
really,
been about
what
the land.
That has, yes,
and
the land,
but
that has to do with power. It's just about the power.
You have to get back to nature. You have to connect with nature. Everyone.
When you're connected with nature, you wake up and you question what society and the quote-unquote rule makers are wanting us to do that is so unnatural. But when you sit in nature and you listen, you really listen, everything you need to know, you know from nature. And I learned that, and that I never wanted to have my daughter unnaturally vaccinated. And when you're connected to nature, you know how nature works, and you know that giving a shot like that is so unnatural to the immune system. So you have that intelligence then, and that knowing that you don't learn in school or in books. You learn it by sitting in silence, in the quiet, and in nature. I know from my experience, and my daughter is almost 19 now, and she's very connected to nature and very balanced, even though she's a Gemini and a teenager. She's very balanced.
There's a simple thing about being in nature. You're not sitting in front of a TV or in some other thing being distracted. That's on a very fundamental level.
You're being nourished.
Yes.
And it doesn't matter if you're there where Mike is in beautiful Molokai, or here in California, or Montana, or wherever. You can find that place where you can hear the birds. Oh my gosh, just hearing the vibration of the birds brings you up a few notches. And for grounding, I have a place where I go the same place every day and ground. I mean, I do a lot of walking and hiking and things like that out in nature, but every day I make it a point to put my feet in this exact same spot. And I will tell you, in the last, since 6 months, I can feel the energy of that spot before I even put my feet there. And I feel Gaia's welcoming me. She wants us there and connecting as much as we want to connect with her, the trees and the plants and the birds and the animals. So I so support everyone to find that little place, that little piece every day where you can go and stand and connect and make it a personal relationship with Gaia, because we are Gaia.
Yeah.
That's beautiful, Colleen. That's beautiful. I definitely have found great solace being outside, and even before my mind was consciously aware of it, my body was. And I had considered I was just obsessed with being outdoors. The first thing I wanted to do when I woke up was get out the door. During the winter, I just bundle up, as best I can to stay warm and be outside as often as I can. And it has really aided in my healing. So you are just absolutely right on, and it's wonderful to hear you, by the way.
You too, Lynn. Thank you for sharing that. And yes, I'm in California, but we've had some pretty cold nights going down in the 40s, which is cold for here. And I've gone out there, and it's just really interesting to feel the earth beneath your feet, when it's warm, when she's all warm, and her fragrance from the soil, filling you with her fragrance, and then feeling her when she's really hard and cold and your feet are on her early in the morning. And I just feel her welcoming me, and it's like saying thank you for coming.
One of the reasons I feel where I'm at is I've watched a lot of sunrises and sunsets. And, I could have chose to stay inside during those times, but I was born in 1969. I'm a rooster. I don't know what. Bringers of the dawn. I'm up at that time all my life, and I got to share with the sunrise and the sunset. Whew, makes me feel really good.
And one thing, and then want to hear Ninja. I just wanted to say that, and you've probably found this too, Michael, and many of you listening, that the more that you go out and you connect with Gaia, the stronger you are in your meditation and to stay in the silence. Have you found that, Michael?
Yeah. And
she is so supportive of the silence, where that's where our power is. That's where you're able to then hear the downloads. But Ninja, are you ready?
I am. I found it. Yeah, I didn't dare go to the website, pick it out because of opening pages. Maybe it will give me a little blip on the Skype, which I do not want. So I found it on my disk. If you all please would mute, because there is a very strange tone on the line, and I don't know where it's coming from. So that would be maybe a cue for that. And I'll start now. Here we go. Pedestal.
Ninja, could you just say a word about it, about how it came to you before you read it?
It was, I was sitting one morning. I've been a fairly regular listener to this show, and this was in May 2013, by the way, when this came. And there was one morning where we had a power cut in the house, and I had no internet for a couple of hours, and I thought, what shall I do? Because I used to listen to the archive of the show before. That was my day start, from the night before. Even though I had heard it, I used to listen again. And I thought, what shall I do? So I thought, I don't know, I'll grab a pen and paper and just sit. Because that's often how it is with me. I just write, just hold it in my hand and then away you go. So I thought, I'll just take a pen and see what happens, and this is what happened, and I don't know, that's how it is with me. It's the same with artwork and things, it just comes in. So that's about as much responsibility for a psychic. But, yeah. Yeah, it was obviously inspired by Kate talking about, don't put her on a pedestal. But I wasn't actually thinking about that.
I remember that day.
Yeah.
So that was May. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know exactly which day in May. I've just dated it May. But never mind, that's good enough. Okay, so here we go. Pedestals are those marbled heights in the minds of the ones determined to place those of us who would rather sit on the sandy beach by the toes of the cliff, not climbing except in our hearts to reach our own true selves. Those pedestals are cold, hard perches of precarious nature, and the inevitable fall is only too imminent to our awareness. We crave no lofty elevations, no glorified niches carved of granite, envy and adoration. Smash it! Smash that ignoble ornamental red with the wrecking ball of honor for who you are, for your own dear self, and use the dusty rubble as the foundations hold for our friendship's new home. So come inside, join us who share our souls. Or do you shun your seat at the table of our lives? Beside us, there are many empty placeholders at an ever-expanding board, all laid out in abundance with nature's bounty. Will you join us and take your seat at last? We are one, yet unique, like the many-faceted, silvery grey sparkles on the sea. Let us dance now, together, in love. There we are, pedestal.
Oh, that is even more beautiful the second time I've heard you read it.
Oh, thank you.
Not to put you on a pedestal.
Oh, do not do that.
Oh, that is so beautiful.
Yeah. I have a few things that... Smash it, yeah, we don't want any of it. We're smashing everything, aren't we? Everything doesn't resonate with us.
Yeah.
We're smashing the lies, we're smashing the whole lot. I mean, that was only about the pedestal, but yeah, now you read it again, and you see all sorts of other things, of course. So I haven't read it for quite a long time. So, yeah.
I've been thinking about it for a few days, and I thought I'm going to get on and ask if I heard you on, if you would get on and read it. Honor for who you are.
Yes.
Beautiful. Thank
By
you,
the way,
Ninja.
if anybody wants, you're more welcome, my love. If anybody does want to read this for themselves, it is actually on the Kate's Writings page down near the bottom, so you can find it there. So, M&M, come on, well, let's hear what else you've got. We should have, theoretically, another half an hour or so.
Hey, we love listening to the ladies.
That yin and yang, huh? The balance. Savon talks about the balance.
Many years ago, usually you hang out, most of your friends are guys, you know a lot of people, but you hang out with the guys, and many years I was like, I gotta stop smoking with you guys. I'm done listening and trying to talk with you guys. I'm gonna go hang out with the ladies and really have a good conversation. And that's what I did, and wow, man, for a few years there's so much knowledge and love, and the guys would see me and they'd be like, "Hey, what are you doing?" I'm like, "What do you mean? I'm happy. Where are you at? I told you what I was doing. You guys, conversation was boring." And so that's what's beautiful about actually sometimes not hearing it from the ladies is actually hearing it from other men. And coming to this table and hearing so many different beings, beautiful, coming and sharing. It's been wonderful, eh? It is.
Well, you were talking about we were all talking about nature, and Ninja told her story about the birds, and talking about contrasting yin and yang. I've had deer coming a lot, physically and also in dream time. And a few days ago, where I walk my dogs, I go into the canyon, but there's also a forested area. And, you know, when you can, like, look in the forest and part of it is dark and shadowy, and then the sun is bright, shining through and glistening through the trees. And I was walking the dogs, and I heard a cracking and another cracking of the branches, and I knew something was around. And so I'm looking into the forest and into that dark, shadowy area. And then all of a sudden, this head comes out from the dark, and just its head is shining in the sunshine. And it was a doe. Yeah, it was a doe. And then I heard more movement, and my two dogs just sat down. And I stood there, and I was waiting to see who was going to come out. One by one, 6 doe and 1 buck or stag. And each one just came from the dark shadow, the cool part of the forest, that yummy, cold darkness, and then into the bright light. And each one just came so gracefully up the little hill and up into the road and crossed the street, each one in front of me and the 2 dogs, and we just watched them. It was so surreal, and it was like we were in a dream. Each one, and then they jumped so gracefully, one at a time, up the little bank, and then disappeared up into the canyon. And it was just so amazing. These 6 doe, 2 of them were babies, and then this big buck with the, I forget how many, rack. You count the rack. And he just followed behind them, just like out of something like out of Bambi. Oh, Ninja, you probably enjoyed this story.
I'm loving it. I think it's wonderful. Yeah.
I just thought of that. So yeah, just the contrast of the dark and the bright light, and the yin and yang, the male and female, and being in nature. And it's like where I went and zoned out in that experience was deeper than any of my meditations.
Yeah, that's the beauty of it. That's the beauty of nature.
Mm-hmm.
Awe-inspiring.
Yeah.
Good.
We have deer, and they traverse right across the moors. And I know one particular place, and there's nearly a family. And you come back every year, and they'll be there in that field. You'll stand up, looking across the valley. They'll be there.
Hey everyone, we've got Steve joining the call, and we do have an echo and a bit of a delay somewhere.
That's probably just my brain delaying itself as it transmutes this vibration across the airwaves.
Hello, Steve. Good to hear your voice.
Oh, how all beauties are doing. It's interesting to hear you all talking about nature tonight. I like that very much. As Ninja knows, I've been a woodsman my whole life, and to hear you all tell your stories of seeing the deer and your connection with Gaia is very very nice to hear. These are the things that we all used to experience, and some of us still do on a regular basis. You brought up a couple of things. Colleen, is it?
Yes.
Colleen?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. A couple of things you brought up that were on my mind when I hit the notepad or the dial pad that I was going to bring up. One was the contrast. And I don't know if anybody has really paid much attention to the change in the contrast over the last couple of years. But as most of you probably know, the sun cycle is running very low. The energy is very low, and our electromagnetic field around the Earth is very quiet, and our atmosphere is reducing. So we have an altogether different information stream coming in. But along with that is the difference in the contrast of the sun and the dark. At about, I'm in Central Time, and about 2 or 3 in the afternoon, you can look towards the west. Of course, the sun is such a plasmic ball, you can't hardly ever look at it. But if you glance towards it in its glorious brightness, the timber right below it is so dark you cannot even see into it. If you look at a tree when they leave out especially, you'll notice that this spring that, I call it the spotlight effect. The sunlight that hits the leaves from the direction of the sun is white. There's no color to it. And on the shade side of the tree, it would be almost colorless in darkness. It doesn't have the illumination effect that it used to have. It's more of a spotlight effect. So that is really great that you bring up the contrast of it. The second thing was when you mentioned watching the deer cross the road and gracefully go up the hill. I call them the ghost of the woods. And you said it was almost better than meditation. It is a form of meditation, just to be in the presence of nature. So we can meditate without having to do the Zen thing. We can be in a form of meditation at all times. And that is where we need to be. It removes us from the machine mentality. So that's my rant.
Yes. Beautiful.
It reminds people that they're doing it all the time. They didn't realize. Because they think they had to sit in a position and hold their fingers in some mudra or chant something. It's like, no, just walking in nature, like you said, Steve, so simply and beautifully, is meditation. It's what meditation's about.
Well, when you understand oneself and you look within on a regular basis so that you are putting outward what you want in the energy level, then you find that in all things that you do, whether you are actually, call it working at a project, or whether you are engaging in a conversation, or whether you are walking in quiet, it is all forms of meditation. We are what we are at all times. We don't start and stop at any given point.
Yes.
Yep. Same with nature.
My deepest meditations have always been in nature. I mean, I can do a process and a meditation and mantras, and which is all beautiful too, but my deepest beautiful, where I totally leave my body and merge with Gaia and beyond, is sitting against a tree or just hanging out in nature.
Something I like.
So,
yeah, go on.
I was just going to say, and so much of the time, like Steve said, the technology and everything that, even in meditation and teaching things like that, it's about like having to sit somewhere and just hanging out in nature has never really been encouraged, unless you're one of us here at the table, that I'm sure most of us are nature beings here listening. But you really just you have to, just like Ninja said with pedestal, you got to smash it. You got to smash it and say, no more of this. Our children are nature, and we're spending our lives in nature and away from these really unhealthy schoolrooms and unhealthy for the mind. You just have to say no. I said it 18 years ago, 19 years ago, when homeschool was people didn't even know what that was. And I said no. And I said no to vaccines, nothing unnatural or artificial for my child. And,
I like the word school better.
Yeah, and when you stand in your power like that, people aren't going to bother you, and sometimes they look at you like you're crazy, and they don't want to even be, they don't know what to do with that energy. But you have to make a stand. These are your children. These are our children. This is our lives, and we have to say no to this stuff.
I said it 40 years ago.
There you go.
Mm.
Yes.
I think the intention's there.
Yeah.
And that's...
Well, we're in a different place in time now, and like I just made the comment about 40 years ago. 40 years ago, if you want to look at it in linear time, or yesterday, or whatever you want to call it, was just a brain fart, because all of this has been transpiring, but it's culminating at this point. And the things that are happening, I guess the way I'm starting to try to look at it is there has been enough explanation, enough research, enough knowledge brought forth that we have heard all that we need to hear to make a decision of our own. Because, once you know that something is wrong, how many times do you have to hear and how many ways do you have to hear that it's wrong before you just say, fuck it, it's wrong, and pick up a new way of doing it. Not reinvent the old way, not reorganize the old way, not try to coerce a new direction out of the old way, but just disengage with the old way and become anew.
So true, man. So true.
It's like with where our brother Santos is right now. Santo is a beautiful soul. But it's amazing what happens when we allow ourselves to be in a position of focus. We don't always know why we do that or how it happened. But when it happened with me, and I spent 3 weeks in that hole, I accomplished more with the brethren that was in there with me and was able to interact with them in ways that I never, ever, ever would have had the opportunity to do before. And that in itself was probably the primary reason for it to happen to begin with. I mean, there's other reasons, of course, but it's the same way where he's at right now.
There's your contrast, Steve, right? There's your contrast. I'm going to read this real short story. It's called The Taoist Farmer, and it's on contrast. There was a farmer whose horse ran away. That evening, the neighbors gathered to commiserate with him since this was such bad luck. He said, maybe. The next day, the horse returned, but brought with it 6 wild horses. And the neighbors came exclaiming at his good fortune. He said, maybe. And then the following day, his son tried to saddle and ride one of the wild horses, was thrown and broke his leg. Again, the neighbors came to offer their sympathy for the misfortune. He said, maybe. The day after that, conscription officers came to the village to seize young men for the army. But because of the broken leg, the farmer's son was rejected. When the neighbors came in to say how fortunately everything had turned out, he said, maybe.
Wow. Because the story hasn't ended, I presume.
Yes.
Nor has ours.
Yeah,
no.
that's right.
This whole thing that we're involved in right now, that doesn't mean just because we finally got our head out of our arse that utopia is right there for us to breathe in and put a big smile on our face. You know, it's still a pile of shit. It will always be a pile of shit.
Yeah.
And
it comes
you know, maybe
in
someday
and it goes out.
That shit, Steve, properly, finally.
Well, yeah, you know, we're at least seeing the shit. You know, it's hell to be wading through a cesspool and think you're in a clear stream. But once you realize that you're not in a clear stream, you're in a cesspool. That doesn't mean all of a sudden you're dry and all the shit's off of you. You're still in the fucking cesspool. So you deal with it. You know, this thing's not over, and it shouldn't be over. We didn't want it to be over, or we wouldn't have been here to start with. What's going to transpire, or whether I will see the if you want to call it the end game or the play out before I die, I don't know. Shit, I might be dead by morn. I mean, who knows how this thing works? Who cares how this thing works? As you know, as Bill Hicks would say, it's just a fucking ride, man. You know, here's a guy who finally got his head out of his arse, decided to do the right thing, and he fucking dies. So you know, who's to say? This is wonderful. What we have to do is just give up the fear and move forward with this thing. And it's not easy. It's not easy for me. You know, I'm still dealing with this situation, if you want to call it. There's not much to deal with because nobody wants to engage us. But still, you know, it's there. And you just stand in your honor and you stand in your knowledge of what you know, right and wrong. And let them throw what may, you know. If a few rotten tomatoes hit you in the face, well, that's just the way it goes. You know, there's a whole lot of them that didn't make it there, so it worked out pretty good.
So we were talking about, the more, the nature side of things and the magical, like you're saying, wash your face, tomatoes on, and come back over and start enjoying. This connection with nature, and I've shared this with others, and it's a good thing to remember for myself personally, because sometimes I forget my own connection that I have with Gaia, Sophia, some other names that people have for the being we are obviously in. Pachamama. And for me, what kind of seed you can plant with people is I've shared many stories from my life with people and had the wow, what do you like, it was some magical, mystical story. And some of them really were magical and mystical, even for me. Some of them weren't. I was like, wow, where you guys been? This was normal for me, because I guess I spent a lot of time in nature. But then what I did was I started realizing that everyone's had their own experience. I was just like, wow, I keep repeating mine, but wait a second, I want to hear others. And so I asked. And, you know, at first we get, oh, no, and then we do it like we did. We talk about some of our stories in nature, and then they remember their own ones. They remember, was that a dream or an experience, or maybe it was a magical trip they went on, and they remember it again. And they remember that beauty and love and that connection.
But you know what it all boils down to?
Yeah.
It all boils down to this time and space that I'm in is still a fucking pain in the ass. As beautiful and understanding as I know things that are going on, it's a fucking road to hoe, man. I'm telling you. It's a pain in the ass.
Yeah, and just like the Dallas farmer, you know, one day good fortune, the next day it's looked as bad luck. So one day it's like you say, Steve, and then the next day I'm sure you'll say, oh my God, I am in bliss.
It's like the little duckling that got shit on by the cow, you know? It kept them warm, but it's still a fucking pile of shit, for God's sake.
You kind of remind me of, let's just not look at our own personal life. As Kate would say, that's a reflection of the world also. So it does manifest in a way in our own existence because it isn't all right in the rest of our existence. So it's in one way giving you a perspective to see that we got work to do, not just in our own neck of the woods, but in our consciousness that, you know, causes effect in the rest of the world.
I mean, ultimately,
it's only within our consciousness that makes any effect at all.
Right.
It's all just within ourselves. You know, I'll give you a good example. You want to look? You talked something about a few minutes ago about looking at the news.
Didn't we ultimately, Steve?
Yes.
Didn't we make the cesspit?
Oh, it's our own shit in the pool.
We manifested the cesspit, and we have to reject the cesspit.
Or not.
Yeah, we made it,
one, isn't it? Because everything has to be broken down to simple terms, isn't it? You know, like Kate, you know, I'm sure Kate said, do you want to keep living in the cesspit? Do you want to? Or do you want to elevate yourself out of it? And that's to everyone.
And that's that contrast. So when we make the cesspit, then we have to walk in our own cesspit and smell it and everything to see the contrast. Then when we're out of the cesspit, and then we realize, hey, I don't want to go back there. I like it here.
Yeah, I'm good here because my shit don't stink no more.
Hey,
you think I'm kidding, huh? You think I'm fucking kidding? I'll tell you what. When I was in jail for 21 days, I ate their shit food they fed me for 21 days, and I never ever took a shit for 21 days.
Whoa!
I thought it kind of strange. I got out. The first thing I told my wife that night when she was driving me home was the next morning. I said, "You need to go to town and get me some juice to drink." I said, "I got to flush a shit. I had a shit in 21 days, and I'm full of all the dog crap they've been feeding me because I don't eat that kind of food." And so she went to town and got these juices and brought them home, and I drank them. And you know what? I never did have. I just went back to my normal being. Never had a clean out.
How much the system does stick sometimes.
Yeah.
Literally stick. I've had a similar experience in a more drawn-out fashion. Every time I'd come back to America, I'd put on 30, 40 pounds. I'd go back to India or wherever, and I'd lose it. And people are like, how'd you do it? Diet, whatever. I said, no, I accumulated a lot of shit over there. When I came over here, it cleaned it up.
Well, I'll tell you what, I live in a state called Missouri, and my friend from Kansas calls it misery. So I live in the state of misery.
Phonics for you.
There you go.
Miser.
That's all this life is. And Kate's done a great job of that because that's all this whole reality that we live in is nothing but phonics. It was created by the word. It was created by the sound, by the vibration. And all we are doing now is changing the vibration, changing the sound, and creating a new world.
And what is so beautiful is the mirror, how all of us are mirroring each other, and you know, we came back home to each other, and it's just a beautiful place to be.
Here it is. I'm breaking down words. You said misery, and I'm like miser. Why? And I'm like, oh wow. Kate's had an effect.
Well, wouldn't that put you in misery if you were a miser?
Yeah, why be a miser? You'll be in misery.
Right.
Exactly. See, all of it. And, go ahead.
Go ahead, Steve. No,
all I was going to say is, well, shit, now am I going first or you? You go ahead, ladies first.
I forget what I was going to say.
Oh, fuck.
You got to remember, we're dancing. Remember, don't step on each other's toes.
No, we're not at all. No, what I was going to say is that Kate has...
Yeah.
Oh, shit, I'm done. I'm muting now.
Okay, I can tell you what's happening. There's a delay between the time of Steve entering the call. Somehow it's not in sync with the other calls, so that's what it is.
Okay, let's hear Steve.
Go ahead, Steve.
Okay, well, my apologies for this inorganic technology. One day, as we've all talked, we won't have to put up with this crap. But anyhow, point being is Kate has done a great job, along with many others, in going through the phonetics and going through the vibrational changes that we cause with our own voices, with our own vibrations. It is a hard thing to understand, and I don't know that we are at the point where we can actually really get a total grip on it. If we could, we'd be changing things right and left, but we're getting a lot closer. So that's the mirror. Once we see that in the mirror is the Phoenician effect, the phonics of it, then we can dispel and discreate and disallow and allow our own vibrations to reach another level if we're willing to give up the ego in order to do it. That's what I was going to say.
Wonderful, man. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Hey, is Bindi still on?
No, Bindi's gone off. I think she got very tired. She's gone off.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thought we'd hear some Bindi wisdom. Okay.
And the ego is one of our forms.
We got just a few minutes until this is over with. I'm going to go ahead and mute out, and I just want to say I love you all. Thank you for all your inputs, and we will just cruise on across the crest of the next wave.
Keep on
Good night,
keeping
and I love
on.
you.
Thanks, Steve. Love you back.
Ashiwa.
Every day.
Thank you, Steve.
Yeah, according to my clock, we've probably got about, if it continues, which it's been beautiful connection, we've got about 6 minutes. So if people want to start thinking about their final thoughts, and maybe we can even close on some music, but anyway, we'll see how it goes.
Well.
Don't everybody jump in at once, for God's sake.
Yeah, you left us in a nice state.
Yes.
Well, the thing is that this thing that we're doing on a collected, and I hate that collected. I did put a note in the room about that. It's connected, not a collective.
Yes.
We are connected. We are still individuals, and I will soar my individual arse any direction I'd like, because I am the only one who suffers the consequence, because I do bring no harm to no one else. But we need to make sure that we don't fall into a mentality of a collective. Okay, they talk about the collective consciousness. We are all one. Well, fuck you. No, we're not. We are collected. We are connected with each other, not collected.
What about collaborative?
Well, that would be connected. We can collaborate with each other because we're connected.
Yes.
No, I like
that word, collaborative.
I like that word, connected instead of collective. Totally, dude. It's totally resonates.
Yeah, collective sounds like, you're all a bunch of, little morons walking around doing what you're told to do because you're collected in one piece. No, we're all individuals.
Yep.
And we need to experience our own individuality because, for instance, and I'll bring it back to Brother Santo, he's having his experience right now. Well, I'm sorry, I'm not collected in his experience, but I am connected to him very much because he is my brother. So, and the same way with me when I went through mine. He searched far and wide. He's on the other side of the fucking planet from me. And, I was out of contact for 3 months. And I find a message that says, if anybody knows this guy over here, in Missouri, let me know. I mean, it's a wonderful, beautiful thing. So we are connected, but we are not collected. They tried to collect us, and we said, fuck you, no, we don't do that shit.
Well, that's what they do with Seth, isn't it? Collect it. And on that note, I am going to play Kate's promo because, we do need to promo. And we've probably got 3 minutes left. And I'm voting for a song. And as I'm on the board, you don't even get a vote.
Well, since you're the fucking bully bitch, you just go do what the fuck you want.
I bet it's Lullaby.
It is.
Night, Bam Bam.
I want to play that one. All right, I'm going to say love you all and love all you. And
love you all.
Wholeness and balance. Aloha.
Love you all.
Thank you again, Ninja, for reading Pedestal. I think that, it was a really nice remembering.
Let her play the fucking song, will you?
My pleasure. Thank you.
You're listening to Kate of Gaia on Critical Mass Radio. The game is up. Now, it's our turn.
Hush now softly, can't you hear? Mockingbird, she must be near. She sings her song, the bio lullaby. Misty morning lays.
You know what I mean? Did he spit? Did he kick a dog? What bullshit did he supposedly do that you wouldn't just bring him in and go, okay, now you're released? Man, there's billion-dollar fraudsters, man, that go in and out quicker than this. So it's just a farce of the whole system, man.
It's like we've said, it's starting to show its ugly head.
Yeah, just got it back. That was mentioned. They mentioned to me because it was a second person, and I just wrote, well, that was already my intent about letting Bill have the most. Of course, duh. Anyway, I am a radio host after all, so I treat it when I'm in a true hosting position, then I treat it as such. Here, I consider myself being interviewed by you guys. Right? And then I asked the question, well, what about the other 7.3 billion folks? I guess I'll wait to hear from them, too, see what their opinion is.
Hey, Kim, what I want to hear?
Real consensus.
I want to hear somebody call in from the land they call Russia. And is there a better name? I'll start calling it. Also from Japan. I want to start hearing people call in from other parts of our consciousness that are here on the planet and other points. Because, as I was sharing earlier, man, there's a whole lot more people who are resonating with this without tuning into the so-called station through the internet that are right here, right now also.
Great. You know, we have this game. I know we have this game. I'm laughing here. You know, so just to finish that little story off with the gentleman that was dealing with the mayor. Mayor did get back to him and sent off a bunch of stuff, and they got back to him again saying, I'll look over this. And we had a bit of a chuckle when the individual called us back and said, well, how do I address this? Do I address it, your worship? And we had a field day with him. Said, no, you call him by his name. Right? If you give somebody a title or give them the illusion that they have power over you, is that not a spiritual contract? Yeah, I thought it was, too. Yeah. Call me silly and non-contractual in nature. I'm very careful about that, which I agree to. That's why I look at everyone as equal. Can't be anything but. There's only one, right? So it's all good. It's all good. You know, nope, didn't get back to me on that. Oh, still writing. Anyway, it's all good. It will be fun. Let me write that. It will be fun.
You know, Kate, there's going to be a so-called law like...
relax.
It's going to be like, you're going to jail for being a pompous ass. And the jail is in the parking lot. You know, you remember they used to have telethons for MDMA and used to come to the parking lot. I don't know if they had it in your neck of the woods. And they would have a thing to raise money. You'd get to put somebody in the silly jail. And it was a cardboard thing or whatever. And hey, man, I live a cartoon existence in many ways, and I've watched it unfold like that. And so here's another funny one to add. So Robert Doyle's going to be sitting in a parking lot. We're going to have some wet sponges, and we're going to be laughing, throwing things. You're in a funny jail for being a pompous ass, you prick. Now, quit thinking like that and come over here.
And you're sentenced to wear a tutu for a week.
Like this, until your ego gets in line and you can laugh also.
Yeah. And don't worry, Mr. Robert Doyle. This is from Master Kate Renee. I'll lend you some panties. Don't worry about it. You'll be fine. I love it. It's comedy, baby. It's comedy. Anyway, I'm gonna step back. It is astrotheologyradio.com at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard, 10 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time. Okay? And of course it had to be 2200 hours. Master number, there's blood, bullseye. And I had this feeling that the day that I finally talked to Bill Donahue, was the day the game was over. So relax. It's perfect. It's all good.
Okay, here's a simple quote. Well, I don't know where I got it, but I've thought about this a lot and had this same feeling. And education system has nothing to do with learning. It is about following orders and bowing to authority. People want to get their ego bent and say, no, I'm not talking about true education or learning. I'm talking about the education system. And it's about following orders and obeying authority. That's it. Mark?
I couldn't agree with you more, Mike. Program before. Well,
it's we kind of like people think, well, how did I become a worker? How did I get stuck in this system? Remember that school you went to when you were a kid? That's where it started. Well, we can go back further, but that's where you got a lot of the indoctrination. We can say this now in all light because we know it's finished. And I'm not joking. That's something to laugh at somebody stuck in it, so-called today. We can laugh because we know what it truly is and that it's finished, and there will be a real new way. Well, no, I'm not going to call it even new. We'll go back to true learning and education, and with that is we'll be learning from the children, for sure. And that doesn't really go on much in this education system, no matter how much the teachers would like to do that. They're stuck in a...
You're listening to Kate of Gaia on Critical Mass Radio. The game is up. Now, it's our turn.
Well, holy, that was a lot of fun to get on the board tonight. I had to come in. Oh, God, I got to tell you guys, this has been crazy in a beautiful way. But anyway, I'm called in as a caller because I couldn't. I got the board open. There's been mayhem with the internet today. Skype has been working perfectly, but the internet just doesn't want to load up. What are the odds of that? Apparently pretty good. But anyway, I managed to get called in through the board. You see, I get to be a caller. I love it. This is awesome. See, I told you I'm a caller. Anyway, we're going to introduce a brand new show to you guys tonight. The M&M show with Mike and Mark, where the truth is not candy-coated. We don't like candy coatings on our truth. We just like the pure center of it, right to the middle. So we get to the heart of it all here. And that being said, I just finished a show off there with No Borders Radio, and I'm hoping to get a podcast of that because it was a zone. It was really, really awesome. It was just a beautiful place to be in that zone, and yeah, I think it's about an hour and 20 minutes of just straight on getting it done. And I did cover the contracts, and there's something for you, Mike and Mark, and feel free. I think it would be a lot of fun in terms of topics. Is maybe grab some of the essays, read them out, and start discussing the concepts within them, and that way everyone gets on the same page. I just thought that as an idea, so it takes all the pressure off worrying about what to talk about. Well, let's talk about truth and how we get it all together. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce. We got Mike on the board. I'm not seeing Mark. I know you guys were having trouble getting on, just like myself. So I guess as soon as Mark, your co-host, shows up, we'll bring him in. How are you doing, Michael?
Aloha. Yeah, wonderful day in paradise. Walking down the street, picking oranges off a tree.
Nice.
Sometimes you can't get more lovely than that. Simplicity.
You know, here's the singularity. Nice, prick. See what I mean? It's all perfect. It's freaking awesome. That's how you can, if you can be happy and pissed off at the same time with the same thing, that's a singularity. How are you looking at it? Are you polarized? I can see both sides of it. It's beautiful. I'm so happy you can go and grab oranges. That's got to be an awesome experience. And, of course, it's snowy here, so I'm going to call you a prick. It's awesome. Oh, it's so easy, this game.
Evening all.
Ninja!
Hey, Ninja.
Thank you so much.
Hello, hello.
Thank you for grabbing the board, hon. There was something that I think that you wanted to share. So why don't you share that? We were talking today about languages. Yeah, the languages and the
Oh, yes, indeed. Yes. We spend a lot of time here talking about the root words, because between us here we have something like 4 languages fluent, maybe something like that. And how you find the root of words, if you only know English, it's impossible. But when you know lots of different languages, you could bat it around the table and say, but this also means that, and this also means that. And then you can really understand not only how the languages are all interconnected, but how the hidden meanings of the words are not really hidden at all. They're just in another language. And when you put them all together, and you can really get a much bigger picture. It's absolutely fascinating.
Yeah, it's where...
Sorry, go on, Kate. Yeah.
I was going to say it's where English meets French meets German meets Norwegian meets Mandarin meets all of the languages in one language called Phoenician or sound.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the threads are unbelievable once you start to see them, and you just think, oh, it's so comical, really. Yeah, but very, very good fun. If anybody has a multilingual household, please try it, because it's absolutely entertaining. And on the business end of the stick, if you like, we've got a little bit of an update here from the Norwegian end. We sent out a load of documents in Norwegian to everywhere in Norway some months ago, and we actually have had a response which came in November. We hadn't really processed it until yesterday, from the Justice Minister of Norway to the truth bomb that was sent, which included the apostolic letter, the birth certificate, the I who shall not be legally named, and various others of Kate's documents. And yeah, we got a response. I'm just going to, it was a very, very minimalist response. I felt the energy of it. It came as a scanned in PDF of an actual colour letterhead with a real ink signature on it. And it's from Anders Anundsen, the Just Preparedness Minister of Norway, and it says, regarding notification about criminality and court system, thanks for your email of 20th November 2013. I am registering your considerations surrounding criminality and the Norwegian court system, and taking this for orientation. With best regards, his signature, his name underneath, as I say, Anders Anundsen, Justice and Preparedness Minister. So that's a nice open door back to him, which we shall be using very shortly with a lot more information, including the witness information. And we're also going to be asking Anders to not worry too much about orientation. In other words, what to do with what we've sent. He needs to find his orientation with what we've sent. So no, don't worry, we know what that is. And we've come up with, speaking with Kate earlier today, that he has to provide the means people like us to get, the criminals in court, a criminal court. So we've got some conversation to have with this chap.
Absolutely, and just to follow that up, there was an individual and his mom that they were threatened with eviction that was supposed to take place today, and of course Art has been in contact, of course, and this individual has been up to speed on the writings and was able to stand at the door and fend these idiots off. And of course, we don't worry about fending the idiots off because they're easy. What we're after now is going after the people with intent. Okay, they're not vengeance, guys. I need you to really, really walk this narrow with me. Don't slip into the literal vengeance. Okay. What we do now is we send our intent back, and what this individual was directed to do was this. Immediately contact the mayor, and he did, and he got a response. And I'm telling you why everyone around this planet had better get busy really quick. That includes Robert Doyle in mayor of Victoria, Melbourne, whatever the hell's jurisdiction. Melbourne. Because this individual is fully and completely liable for all by proxy agents operating within his corporational jurisdiction. You live by the sword, you die by the sword. You live by the oath, you die by the oath. This is it. You are in spirit. This man is in spiritual contract with the dead fiction. And I put everyone on this planet on notice that you are under your own recognizance now. That which you wish upon others, you wish upon yourself. And what I had mentioned in this conversation was simply this. Now, I'm going to walk you guys down this path, and I really need you to get the power of what I'm sharing with you. Okay. Mayor is in every city or township or whatever the hell you want to call it in Distractionville, called physical world. Every one of these entities is elected. Therefore, you have in every one of those jurisdictions an elected chief justice or a judge. They're not a mayor. They are the chief. That's mayor, M-A-R-E or M-A-Y-O-R. I don't know about you, but phonics kind of sounds the same to me. So if you want the mother horse, get it? You can say it the same way. So if you want the horse of Babylon, the mayor, to rule you, then that's your mama. Sorry, that's a dead mother. I'm not a dead baby. And I'm certainly not a child of God. Child can be pronounced killed. Check it out. You'll see. C-H, cuss sound, ill, d. You don't need an E. That's a spellbinding rule, is it not? Of course it is. This is why it's so critically important to get out the scissors. I don't care what you have. Slice and dice the sounds and start to see the real truths contained within the words themselves. So what you have to do is this. You've got the mayor as the chief justice who, by agreement of their oath, I don't care if they have one, they do. They agreed to be the mayor. You don't need a piece of fucking paper. And you really got to lose this. Paper only has the power of the intent that you agree with that is on it. If you cannot read Japanese sigils, it means fucking garbage to you. Treat every piece of paper the same way. That which you agree to and react emotionally to, you are at effect to. Doesn't make you much cause. It makes you full on effect. So we take this same cause ability, time to be the crow, the crone, and start making your own cause. Start putting out through the Taurus field. Start shooting the bull a whole lot differently here. So by proxy, everyone that is operating within their agreed upon, spiritually bound to, and oath to being a dead entity are fully liable for all the actions of all of the agents, the police, the judges, the lawyers, the citizens, you name it. The mayor is fully liable for all activity within their jurisdiction. That's why they call it the chains of office. They are the chains to bind you or the chains to hang them. It's time to be the unicorn and bow your head and remove that crown from around your neck. And only when you bow to the truth will the false crown fall off. Then you can raise your head high. Then you can stand in truth. Then you have the ultimate protection of the universe, where you will have the illusion of being harmed, but never will be. That is the power of truth. You will be tested, but you will never be harmed in that test. Only when you find the peace within will you pass that test. As soon as you go, oh yeah, okay, I get it. That's when things change. But it doesn't change until you do. That's your reality. That's your path that you're choosing. I choose the path of no vengeance. So what people need to do is start putting every mayor on this planet on notice. This for me is an opportunity to finally speak with the third part of the Trinity. Who do I cherry pick from the most? Santo and Bill. And I take the joy of these guys is the fact that I can take what they got and build another rung above it and keep climbing and keep pulling everything up. There are going to be some very profound things for Bill when he gets the Phoenician. I'm going to be very short and sweet with it about everything being phonics and Phoenician. And it won't take long for that genius that Bill is, in an allegorical, anagogic sense, to take it to the next level. And I'm going to use Shoot the Bull as the allegory, from the literal to the allegory to the anagogic, and how to put the cause and intent back into the game. That's it. And it's going to be an absolutely astonishing time. I know this. And and you guys have heard me. I am looking so forward to never having to do this again.
Yeah, Kate. And part of it is just, again, touching bases with certain part of our consciousness that just need to be clued in that, oh, you understand this, or understand this part too? Yeah, just to come to the same page. Many times we feel we're on different pages, and just because we haven't communicated clearly enough or touched base, and once we do, wow, the magic flows.
Totally it does. So, guys, where do you want to take this? Because I pretty much said my piece, and I really want to let you guys just go with whatever it is you want to chat about. You're both well versed. You're in the now. You know what we're talking about, and just have at her. The table's yours. I am bowing out here very gracefully to prove that I don't want to talk. I just want to be.
Kate?
Yeah.
Before you step back for the evening, can you please confirm the location and times for the Bill Donahue interview?
Yep.
I believe it's 5 p.m. Eastern is what you said to me earlier. Just double check.
Yeah. It's saying 2200 hours p.m. Greenwich Mean Time, so that's looking like it's 7 o'clock. That's different from what I was told. So it looks like tomorrow night I'll be at a different table, same time. So there you go.
2200 hours at Greenwich Mean Time.
That's what it's saying on this notice I just got. And
5K.
I can't open it up right now because my net is not working worth a beans here. So I know it's astrotheologyradio.com. And don't worry, I'll be sharing those links as soon as I've got...
that's okay. astrotheologyradio.com.
Okay? That's where we're going to be.
It should be the 2 hours before the outside the box. Should be. That's fine. We'll know when that moment comes.
Well, that's the thing. 2200 hours is... what time is that? That's 10 p.m., right?
Yeah, 2 hours before usual time.
Oh, right. So so we're 5 to 7, then 7 to 9. So I'll see if I can even get Bill to swing over onto our table for the night.
Yes, that was my feeling.
Sweet.
Okay. And I'll tell him that on the air. It says I can bring you in via Skype, or I can call his number and bring him in that way. Or I might have to get Chris to do that because he can do that. But again, I'm here right now. So let's manifest. Oh, by the way, look at the headline. Santo is out. System got tired of Santo teaching synchronicity in general population because a lot of inmates suddenly realized who they truly were and started becoming witnesses and creating havoc within our system, destroying it from the inside out, swinging Excalibur as only the way Santo Bonacci can. How's for a story?
They must wanted it because he actually said flat out on the radio, if something like this happens, that's what he's doing.
And that's what he's doing. I got confirmed from Cindy. I talked to Cindy earlier today. I'm going to see if Cindy is around. She said she was thinking of coming. I can't bring her anyway, because I'm a caller. Yay! I love it. But anyway, Sonia and Hiromi went in to see Santo last night, and they wouldn't let him see him. They brought some clothes in, but the guy at the counter that they were talking at said, "Yeah, this Santo is an interesting fellow. I think he's already got a sync school started going on in here." Of course he does. That's our Santo. What do you expect from a Leo ascendant Mars and get the job done Arian? Are you kidding me? And people say, why Santo? Why, here, I got to share this. Why Santo? Why not Kate? Well, I'll tell you, because I'm trained. They're going to put me in solitary, so they need to put someone there, another Leo ascendant, that can get the job done in general population. So there you go. And now he's a card-carrying member of our club, and I love it. It has to be. It's beautiful. Oh, man, talk about the stories that we got going on. This is freaking awesome. And
now,
killing it.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I haven't asked. I haven't even I think he talked about what it was beforehand that they were trying to get him on. I didn't even want to go into any details, and I don't even know any details. If someone wants to share them, if we do that, we do that. But what I'm kind of getting at is, they put him in jail for what? It's almost like this ain't Singapore, man. But it's showing you that it's a control system.
We see you, and we don't need a court to prove your guilt. Your actions have already sealed your fate. I simply agree with it. If it was someone's intent to harm, and they got away with it, does that negate the crime? Does that negate the contract or the intent? No, it does not. They have to stand fully in that. So every being on this planet is now on full recognizance. That which you wish upon others in terms of blessings will return to you 1,000-fold, and that which you wish upon humanity in a negative, malfeasant, harmful way shall also be returned 1,000-fold. That is a singularity. That is the choice of the individual point of consciousness that are not my concern. I merely have my reality that I use, that I stand in. And if you want to play in my sandbox, you're going to need to grow up. And if you can't, don't worry. I know universal law stands behind everything that I do, and I do not wish harm. I only give the golden rule. That which you have wished upon yourself or others, you have wished upon yourself. Be careful what you think. Every thought is a wish. Be careful what you wish for. I will fucking grant it now.
All right. Woo. Yes, drive it home, Kate.
Point made.
Amen. Amen. You're hitting it right on the bullseye, Kate.
That's where we are, boys and girls. Time to, like I keep saying, pull up the big boy manties and the big girl panties. We got this. Lose the diapers.
It's the new golden rule, Kate. We've always been confused, and the simple version of it is, do no harm.
Yeah. It's pretty simple.
No harm can be done. That's it. That's the simple one. Not what I can do. What is it in the and then you got to put it into the negative no. We're gonna live. We live in a world of no harm, where you cannot cause harm to anyone. That's the simple of it. It's the new mind that flows in harmony with nature and all life.
It's just so simple.
Yeah, and it's simple, it's elegant, and
it's beautiful, system, Mike.
Yeah, okay. What did we say the old system was dressed up in? The opposite of simple was, Mark, what was that word? Oh, it'll come back to me.
That's all good, guys. Carry on for a little bit here. I've got an email to answer. Actually, it's not an email. Here's a concern that came in, and let me clarify it right now. Concern from someone who just posted this. Is there going to be time for chat or calling questions? Actually, can that be the majority of the program? I'm worried Kate will talk over Bill and take most of his time. This is such a special opportunity with so little time. Can someone please make sure Bill is the main focus and gets all the opportunity? No offense to Kate, but everyone is aware how rare this is and how privileged we are to get Bill's time, right? All well intentions in this comment. Sorry, I don't see any well intentions there. How about you just let it be? How about you let me decide?
I didn't.
Yeah. How about you let me decide if I'm all fucking grown up? And better yet, how about you, whoever wrote this? There's no mention of who it is. It came in neutral. How about you go out and spend the last 6 years of your life on the air talking about this? Now, how about you get your fucking life shredded in order for you to learn where it is I'm sitting right now? And why don't you learn to be all grown up instead of being concerned? Because I'll tell you what will happen if it becomes a call-in show, which it will not, and definitely Bill is the focus, no question. I have waited for this moment for a very long time. And the last thing I'm going to do is let some fucking monkey-chattering left-brain meat stick come in and try to derail things because they have no clue as to what's really going on here. Bill will get this. I just need to plant a couple of seeds and watch him go.
This is one for the archives of all archives, the classic, and clearly, who better to interview him than you? And yeah, we don't need any advice from anybody. Thanks very much. Whatever the intent was behind it.
It's a slight old fear in the mind control program, Kate.
Yep.
It's slight. As I said, it's. But as we come close, it's minor in a way, but it's still needs to be light shined on and done with.
Mm-hmm.
All good intentions. Come on, there's something. All good intentions, Kate, but fuck off.
Pretty much, That's all good. I mean, I get it, but, sorry. Not on my watch. And like I said, I tell you what, why don't you get to the point where you can actually be able to interview Bill Donahue, and then we'll talk about it. Then we'll be on a level footing here.
See, the beauty of this, Kate, is... And
hey, Mike, you were right a minute ago. You started laughing because that's what you've got to do, haven't you?
Yeah. So the beauty of this and what people have got to remember, why is Kate interviewing Bill? And quite simply, is because she's done the work to be able to, in a way, reach that point to have that conversation with Bill that we all would like to hear. So, bravo, Kate. Thank you for manifesting this, and everyone at the table also wanting this. Thank you.
Well, exactly. And again,